let's get started. It is going to be our very first game between Hera, playing the Rus in the left hand side of the map, somewhat towards the north, in the blue, our very famous Age of Empires 2 player. And then we have RecoN, slightly less known player, playing the Mongols in the east northern quadrant of the map. It is actually a very open map, very close starting positions. Look at how nice I think there's going to be a rush map. Look at this. Look at how little space the players have between each other. This is so close. I'm actually surprised by this. It's actually such a small map. You can just basically walk a spear in like what, 10 seconds, 15 seconds from one base to the other, maybe 20. But it's insanely nice, like for rushes. If you want to play aggressive, this is the map to do so. What I actually like to see, Mongols do, I'm actually not in full accord with what is happening over here. I would really like to see this TC either here or even like here, because you can just wall off this part and then you're completely impervious to any forms of harassment, right? You can just kind of defend against anything. Like, obviously, the further you move towards the east with the TC, the better you can get. Okay, you can see, by the way, RecoN actually starting with a lot of wood. He's also pulling all the sheep across, so he actually picked them up with the scout, but he just kind of decides to run them because he wants to, master up more sheep as he goes. Now, he probably also wants to deny some of those hunts. So the Rus player over here, Hera, is going to be taking this entire hunt over here. Hera is, by the way, not chopping a lot of wood, so he's not going to go for that wooden fortress immediately. He's going to take a little bit more time to do so. I think we saw way earlier wooden fortresses built before. There's also a hunting cabin, of course, supporting the economy of Hera, getting him this nice access to the extra gold income that he so desperately needs if he's not going to mine the gold at all, which Rus, generally speaking, doesn't do. Now, we see okay, that's what I was thinking, right? So there's a stable, and the stable is actually building double scouts. We see 2 scouts coming out immediately, and there is also going to be an additional pair of scouts. No, just a single. No, that's again double scouts coming out once again from the Mongols. That's something we have seen today a lot, actually done by other players. So we have seen like double scout spawns, and they're actually just going to go around the map, apply the pressure, deny the hunts. Maybe it's really a big question as to what exactly those are supposed to accomplish. But obviously the end game goal for them is actually to gather all the hunts up from the ground and move all those carcasses back to the main base, because you can just get this super nice upgrade which is called Professional Scouts, and this just allows you to actually get some nice research. So it allows you to carry all those animals back to your main base, right? So you can just kind of gather all those killed hunts and use them to your advantage. We see those Mongol scouts actually just running around. One of them is taking heavy damage from the TC. But, as long as he doesn't die, it's okay, I guess, right? We're not really going to count our losses over here. It's quite okay. Now, the Rus scout actually is getting another kill on the deer. You can see there's this nice streak when you actually just auto-attack and move immediately. If you can reset that auto-attack, you can get double autos from the scout. You can see, like, you can just basically chain that. You can use basically this machine gun scout, I can say, right? So if you reset those auto attacks efficiently, you can get a lot of extra damage from that scout. You can clean up those hunts extremely fast. Hera, by the way, probably might want to kill those wolves at some point, right? That's another important thing. But RecoN sees it all. RecoN is actually everywhere on the map. He's killing all the hunts that he can. So the double production of scouts serves double purpose. First of all, of course, you get that extra access to the scouting information, and also you can carry away those carcasses. But most importantly, you also deny a lot from your opponent, and this is exactly what's happening over here. RecoN has been able to masterfully delete a lot of those hunts, taking a lot of the potential income, right? Because it just damages the income that, in terms of gold and of food, that the Rus player is able to generate throughout the game. So actually getting those things done is really, really important for you if you're playing the Rus. If you're playing the Mongols against the Rus, or any other civilization actually, but Mongols are so good because they can actually double produce scouts, being way more efficient at denying things from your opponents, right? I'm actually just looking at this because I didn't know that this is actually double upgradable as well, so you can actually move. I was not aware that you could move the jar in towards the UV and get like those upgraded versions of text by just moving that and getting this research going. So it's actually pretty cool. You can get some extra economical edge, I guess, by just spending that extra stone on the tech, which is very neat, it's very interesting. Those are rather small bonuses, but you know, those are bonuses nonetheless, so nobody should be complaining too much. Now, I think we're just gonna go for the age up, and the Mongols are going to kind of continue, they're gonna continue building up that gold, because I believe there are some upgrades that he wants to get, right? I think that's the only reason he might want to have gold for, because there are no units you can spend gold on as the Mongols, by the way. So you can see those scouts actually disengaging here, they're kind of chasing each other around. Hera kind of realizing there are no hunts left on the map, most likely. This one is dead. This one is dead as well. Like, every single hunt has been cleaned up completely. In terms of the passive generation, though, Hera has only been... Oh, no, he did super well, actually. He has actually been able to get 395 bonus from the get-go. He only needs 100 more, 105 more, which you can easily get from sheep and a single boar kill or two, right? That's basically what he's probably just going to go for. Find that lonely boar somewhere maybe at the bottom of the map over here, just slaughter that poor animal and get that extra nice bonus to income. There are two boars actually, there's one over here, there's also one over here, if you are really desperate to get that bonus ASAP. Not sure how it's gonna go though. You can see Khan actually harassing the scouts of Hera, so Hera might lose a single scout over here. Very fortunate though, he does manage to escape with his life, and those scouts disengage. Now, okay, so Hera is actually, as I said, sending... that's actually something that we have not seen yesterday, sorry, that we have not seen last week. We are contesting boars. That's really nice. You get a lot of extra gold from this. As the Rus, you get 75 gold for killing this animal, and also, obviously, this does contribute to your bonus of gold accumulation. You only need 20 more. I'm not sure if there are enough sheep in the base of Hera, probably no. But Hera is also going for a second TC of the back of this, so that's actually very nice for the Rus as well. They get this for almost free, so you only have to gather 300. So you only have to gather 200 gold into the 300 stone, which is way more efficient. You can just build a second TC very quickly as the Rus, and you can, you know, reap the benefits as well of that construction. Now you can see that those scouts are probably going to be stealing all those animals. That's very annoying for Hera, because he would have probably preferred to go here, put down that hunting cabin, and just start gathering those deer. But he's going to be completely denied that resource. And yeah, we see this actually being done very well by RecoN. He's gonna steal. That's actually mirroring what was done by Mista in his game. He's just taking all the animal carcasses. He's gonna transport them to his base. He's going to get like very nice economy boost from this, because those animals gather very quickly. We see also the sorry. That's another very nice thing that you can do as the Mongols. You can research this in conjunction with the professional scouts, which provide you with a lot of extra gathering rate from animals, which is already very high for there, right? So it's actually just extremely high right now. You can see those scouts actually relentlessly stealing the carcasses from the entirety of the map. Looking like Hera is actually in small trouble at this point, because it seems like the history might just repeat itself, and Hera might just kind of get pushed by, you know, a superior economy of the Mongols. Though, of course, Hera is sitting on double TC eco here. He's getting that, you know, double villager production. So he's getting double archery ranges as well. So as long as this investment in villagers does pay off eventually, he's going to be fine. It is mostly the question of whether this actually does pay off or no. I do think Hera has enough, or has what it takes to actually just control the game well enough to stand the test of time, and maybe just get to this maybe like mid-castle age where Rus is extremely strong, right? Obviously, like, getting to Imp is even better for the Rus, but that is again quite difficult to do. The longer you go into the game, obviously, the more those passive research generations will benefit you as the Rus player, right? So you get obviously those hunting cabins that we don't see too many of. We saw, like, I think it was Kazvar actually. Kazvar was getting lots of those hunting cabins. He was like a maniac with those. Do you remember the game last week where he was just basically building the cabins throughout all those stealth woods on the entirety of the map? He had basically, like, I don't know, 20 cabins scattered across the woods on the map. I'm not sure what the map was, but it was the one which has like a lot of stealth spots for the cavalry. Or for all units, actually. So he was just building those cabins everywhere on the map, just getting huge benefits from that. So, or reaping huge benefits from that. So it was pretty cool overall. I think it was very interesting that he was actually doing that. Here, though, we do not see this. But the Mongols once again going for relatively quick castle up, but Rus is going to march them very, very soon. So you can see that Hera also ready to age up. So 7 villagers, by the way, 8 villagers center, so it's going to be matched. They're gonna be in castle at the very same timing. Very sharp timings, by the way, from the players today. Like, these guys are in sync. I think Marine Lord was actually slightly behind the clock a lot of times, whereas Hera here is obviously getting a very decent position in this game. You know, being able to actually acquire a decent amount of resources, I guess, and by the same token, obviously aging up relatively fast. So we see Abbey of the Trinity being the obvious choice of tech for the Rus, and we see that extra gathering point, which is indeed being built by our Mongol player here. The steppe redoubt is being placed here. The second option for the Rus is usually going to be built when you're... Sorry, but for the Mongols, it's going to be built usually when you are actually going for something more offensive. You can just move it towards the enemy base and just reap the benefits of that. Honestly, there is not much more to be said, right? We see Mongols actually moving up with those deer stones, right? So he's going to pack those up, get that extra movement bonus. He's going to put on some pressure as soon as he reaches Castle Age, but Hera obviously matching him there, so he's not going to allow this to slide so easily. And he's probably getting a lot of army behind us as well, hopefully anyway. For Hera's sake, I do hope that he's gonna get a decent enough army composition to actually work against the Mongols well enough. Hera also goes for that boar over here at the bottom of the map. He gets that final bonus, securing himself 555 bounty, which is enough to get the third tier. Now we can see that obviously RecoN over here accumulating large army numbers, and he's gonna be probably pushing relatively soon. I think that's a good indicator. I'm not sure if Hera is even aware of this. Yes, he sees this with a scout over here, no, with a villager, or maybe that's just the TC's vision range, isn't it? Or it is the wooden fortress. Anyway, Hera is aware of the fact that there is something quirky happening here, and he's going to probably have some forces mustered up. I do believe this might be the case. Let's see the economies: 39 villages for RecoN versus what, like 52 for Hera. Hera though has no army at all, because they have very similar supplies, but RecoN has like way more army, like significantly more units. And also, as I said before, those nasty springles being built as well. So those springles, you know, constructed very near enemy's base means that they don't have to move throughout the map, and they can just get a lot of bonus. You can just kind of get a lot of timing with this. You can save a lot of time by just kind of producing them on the spot with your infantry, right? So that's exactly what is happening over here. Those siege engineers research are going to benefit our Mongol player, and they're going to just kind of, yeah, there's gonna be 3 springles already. Hera has to be ready for this. I do not believe he is not prepared to repel that attack. He has a single siege workshop. Obviously, Rus have some very strong bonuses, so those roller shutter triggers, they provide you with +2 range for your own springles. So if you're patient with your micro, I think you can just get a lot done with them, right? You can actually just snipe your opponent's springles without actually being touched by those. But obviously the question is like whether Hera is going to be able to do this or no. He's also getting some cavalry archers. Again, kind of weird, questionable choice, I guess. They do work very well against the spearmen, so I guess that's the reason. They are relatively expensive though. 80 food, 40 gold, sorry, 40 wood to the regular 30-50 of the regular archers. But since Hera probably has some extra food to spare, or at least can purchase additional food, using that golden gate, he should be okay. We see those 3 springles actually moving up, sniping villagers left and right. 3 villagers already dead for the Rus, for Hera's Rus actually. But there are 3 springles ready to respond in kind, so it's very possible that, you know, this is basically going to end here. However, the army composition is very similar to what we saw before. There are very few units for Hera overall. Those are basically a few cavalry archers and 3 springles against a huge mass of infantry. For RecoN, is it again, like, is it going to be the Rus player being caught with his pants down here? It seems to be the case. Like, I do not think Hera can defend with this. He needs way more units. Like, he needs so much more than this. Unless he micros like an absolute god of Age of Empires 4. But even then, like, it's so scary, actually. Look at this. Those are actually knocking on the doors of the TC. It looks like this is gonna be GG. Like, I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure. We see 5 springles for RecoN, and we do not have the tag being... Oh, it is actually, no. Is it being... is it happening somewhere? No, we don't see the springle tag happening at all. So those springles of RecoN, they're actually going to destroy the springles of Hera. It's gonna be like a trade of what, 2 for 4, which is really favoring RecoN, especially they can build additional springles on the field. And Hera is just in trouble. And Hera is also getting raided here. So RecoN goes for a very aggressive maneuver in the front. He has those really nasty sprinkled sniping the horse archers. At the same time, he's raiding with the infantry, attacking those poor villagers in the north. It is looking like a very nasty situation for Hera. And RecoN is just taking over the game. Hera has set up the game of the series. And Rus once again is on the push. So this very tight was off guard a lot. Like it's very weird actually how frequently this has been happening throughout the series, or throughout all those series played today. And yeah, RecoN just dominates Hera completely. He blows him out of the water with that very aggressive push in the late game. That's all she wrote for Hera. Look at this. This was so many units again. Hera should have seen this coming. Should have been able to, you know, prepare some units for that. Especially that they aged up at the same point. So there's no excuse anymore. Like because obviously Hiramori was late to his age up. So he was actually like a minute too behind. Hera was on point with this. Like he was actually sitting on a good tech. He had no tech disadvantage anyway. He was just basically the same footing as his opponent. He was probably overproducing villagers or something because he had no actual army to back those villagers up. He just got completely obliterated there. It was crazy, man. It was absolutely insane. I do not believe that Mongols just keep doing this today. That's like what, third game in a row I think with Mongols that just ends up in a very aggressive push where Mongols just win decisively because the opponent is just not ready. And it's Hera, for God's sake, like not some random player anymore. It's actually Hera. Like obviously we had like Marine Lord getting taken down by that as well. So obviously by no means is Marine Lord a random player, but Hera is like, I would expect him to just do better against this. He's extremely experienced, by the way. Look at how many games he has, man. It's like he's level 51 account. Like he has played so much of Age of Empires 4. Like he still gets taken down by that very aggressive push by RecoN. Obviously, like I think RecoN might have a second account because that would explain why he only has customs here, right? He only has custom games, nothing else. So it would be feasible to assume that, you know, RecoN has been playing on a different account, not to show his cards before the tournament. Okay, guys. As previously, we're gonna go on a short-ish break, I think, as we wait for those players to ready for the second game. Do you guys have any predictions? Maybe not even a break. Do you guys have any predictions for what's gonna happen now? What do you think is going to be the weapon of choice? What civ do we see now for Hera, and what do we see from RecoN? Do you think the Delhi are going to return? Do we see the return of the Delhi Sultanate, or was it just kind of one hit wonder from the first two players of the day? It was just Voltics being crazy on the Delhi, and everybody else like not having caught up yet. Because honestly, if you're just gonna face, you know, Voltics in the semis, you have to be ready for the Delhi Sultanate play. I'm not sure how you really prepare for this, having so little time and seeing how proficient he is on the civ. But you need to have something ready for that pick. You really have to kind of be able to. You need to be able to respond in one way or another to what is going to happen. So Hera in the lobby right now. I think we're gonna set up for the next game. I'm just gonna quickly check the Discord, by the way. Okay, so there's no information about the current state of affairs, by the way, so you just have to wait for those maps to be announced again, I guess. And yeah, they're just chilling, guys. They're just chilling. Those are very exciting games today so far. I think that we've been having a lot of fun with those. I do still believe that our second series have been the most competitive, obviously, with Mista being incredibly competent on those kind of off picks in a way, right? Because he has been playing something that is not really commonly used at all. So that's very peculiar, to be honest, to see that happening. So we shall indeed see how how that kind of transitions into the next games. Whether like this is the meta for the Delhi. That's something that really bothers me, right? That first game, like with the Delhi being so dominant, I'm just kind of trying to figure out whether it is indeed going to be something that sticks or no. Whether it's just kind of one build that worked with the Delhi specifically, or is it just going to be kind of something that people start doing once they realize, you know, how strong the Delhi Sultanate can be. So very, very peculiar overall to see that actually happen. And we're just waiting right now. We're waiting for the players to get ready, guys. It's obviously taking a while. Hera is ready, though. They're going into the game, and so are we. I do need to update the score. I do need to update the score. This is RecoN taking that very first game of the day. And obviously there's going to be a clock. We have a delay. We have 4 minutes of delay right now happening. So it is just a matter of time before we're able to get into the next series. Guys, again, I would like to remind you that you can subscribe to me on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitch if you wish to do so. I will be casting lots more of AoE 4. So if you're interested, you're very welcome to join and see how exactly you know, my games are going and how exactly, because I'm also playing games, right? I'm also playing AoE 4. I stream it. So I do invite you to kind of stick around and see how that works for you, right? If you do enjoy this cast, I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy more. Obviously, we're casting the finals tomorrow as well, which is going to be quite a big event, I hope. So looking forward to that. So far, so good. We're waiting for those players to just settle down and get ready for game number 2. And it's going to be the classic, guys. It's going to be French versus French. So nobody's saving anything for any later moment in time. I think Hera is deadly on French as well. I think we have seen Hera play French a lot. He has been just really on point, very accurate with the play, like on stream anyway. So I think, and in the tournament as well. I was not fortunate enough to be able to spectate his games, but I did kind of listen and I did actually watch some podcasts. I mean, the recordings from the Genesis stream, and I think Hera is very, very competent in this particular race or civ matchup, honestly. So I do believe he should have an advantage here. I obviously have not seen RecoN play at all. Prior to today, I have not seen RecoN play, so it is going to be a big question mark. Obviously, he did show that he has the fighting spirit, you know, and he has very good timings. Those are the two things that we saw from RecoN so far, or we have seen from so far. So RecoN is actually really a competent player. We know that, and Hera now knows it as well, and he has to respect that, right? I think that previous game was playing. I think Hera was very disrespectful, honestly, because he just allowed for things to happen that should have never happened there. Like, that push was just absolutely uncalled for. Like, not having seen that was just terrible. I agree, sis. Yeah. It's actually just kind of fun to see like how different players coming from different games as well, right? Because approach the game, approach the meta. I was kind of looking forward to Hero Marine, to be honest. I think he kind of dropped the ball because I think Hero Marine, like, we saw Kalajur use the scout so well. I was kind of expecting Hero Marine to scout extremely well too, because that's just the staple of SC2. But he just didn't do that. I don't know why he did not do this, but he obviously has some issues to fix, right? He lost a game to Probe last week where it was very uncalled for, because Probe is definitely not as good as HM, depending, like, at least, you know, given the ladder standings. So I would not expect that to happen. But it did happen nonetheless. And then, of course, again, right now, just losing to Mista. Of course, Mista being a very different caliber of a player, but still, you know, rank 1 versus rank 2 is going to be volatile. But Hero Marine just was very disappointing in terms of like how easily he got taken down. From an SC2 player, I think I would expect more in terms of like kind of awareness and scouting and just kind of seeing exactly what your opponent's up to. So now those two players, by the way, both RecoN and Hera, they have been around rank 20 on the ladder. I just checked, like, they're both like 2 ranks within each other, so like I think 10 elo rating from one to the other. So it's kind of, sorry, it was obviously Marine Lord. Sorry, Hunted. I keep making the mistake between the two. One of them is German. Hero Marine is German and Marine Lord is French, right? And Hero Marine doesn't play Age of Empires 4. Guys, we're going to game number 2 between Hera and RecoN. So, in the West, playing the French. In the blue, it is Hera. And in the East, also playing the French. In the red, it is going to be RecoN. And RecoN is very likely to be building the same thing as Hera. I do not believe this is going to be any different. The build for the French has been worked out. I think people had so much time to experiment that I do believe we have settled on this kind of staple here with, 3 villagers on gold very soon. Like you go for house, then you go for mining camp, 3 villagers on gold, and hooray, you have a build going, right? Basically, that's all you need. Like all the other villas go towards the food. You slap on some extra vills in feudal, go up to 10 if you want to have double stable production, and that's all. I do not think there is much more to be said about this build. You do want to get the lumber camp once you start aging up, I think, in order to get some sort of support for the cavalry, and obviously be able to double produce, because you do need to start some wood gathering to build an additional house, and a blacksmith and a stable afterwards. So you do need some wood at least. You cannot skip wood completely, but you can skip a part of it. So no surprises. Hera here going 2 villages onto the gold. Maybe slightly, actually he's slightly behind with the building. I don't know why, what caused this, but he is slightly behind in terms of the... okay, that's why, he has 8 on food. So he went 8 on food, so his first villager went onto food. Only his second did go towards the house and towards the mine. That's why he is slightly delayed on gold. But this means he will have more food, so that should not matter at all. Like, he will just have enough resources to age up. Maybe even this might be a bit better, because this should give him some extra food to work with. Though he's sending the 4 villager towards gold, I'm not sure I like it. RecoN is... there's small variance there. We have 3 villagers here for RecoN and 4 for Hera on the gold. And Hera is not going to fix it. I'm not sure what he's going to do with that gold, honestly, but he is... like, Hera is one of a kind, so I guess he will figure things out as he goes. We have 5 villagers. That's crazy now. So, question mark? Is he going to be, like, very fast? No, RecoN has more food, doesn't he? I mean, you can just remove those 2 villagers. You have enough to age up then, right? If you're Hera, he does this. Yeah, so you see, he actually does it. So yeah, it was weird, but he actually did this. Like, see, so he has enough to go up to feudal, and the same thing actually happening for RecoN. Very similar timings. 3 villagers building for RecoN and 4 for Hera. Actually pulls extra villas here. 5 for Hera now. So it's going to be a slightly faster advancement for Hera after all. No big differences between the players, honestly. Just those villagers building that landmark right now. Obviously, 5 being slightly faster construction than, or kind of providing slightly faster construction than 3. So it's going to be probably like a 10-15 second desync between those 2 players before they're able to actually clash and start producing knights, right? So first of all, Hera will probably have a knight the same moment. So Hera will have the knight on the side of RecoN the moment that RecoN produces his own knight. So it's going to be completely matched. I don't think that knight does much. Obviously that spawn as well very close to the gold. I think this is kind of nicely thought out, both players doing this, right? Because this allows you to basically just kind of have that knight just defending your gold immediately if you're late, which is gonna definitely be the case for RecoN. Hera is gonna age before 4 minutes, man. He's gonna age before 4 minutes at this rate. Like a few seconds before 4 minutes. Anyway, it's not gonna be a lot, but yeah, it's gonna be like sub 4 minute age up. And RecoN is gonna go like for 4:30 at this rate, unless he pulls extra villagers, seeing that Hera has aged up already. Not gonna happen actually. Nope. Hera immediately starting a knight here, of course. 5 villagers back on gold. We have rest of them going towards the food. 2 of them on the wood over here. There's also a mill in construction, so he's gonna go for those berries. And yeah, just try to probably contest the position of his opponent. RecoN, on the other hand, is going for an outpost. Yeah, okay. I think that's reasonable, just kind of having this, since this gold is very exposed. For both players, actually, those golds are really exposed. They're in the front of the base. getting those outposts will be very reasonable against knights. Of course, this gives you some protection, allows you to stay safer. By the way, RecoN actually goes for double scouts, right? So he's going to go for like extra scouting information, I believe, unless he is also going to go towards his professional scouts and, you know, facilitate that, you know, high scout numbers, those high scout numbers to just stay safe with the villagers harvesting the food. I think that's also quite a good choice, actually. I'm not sure why people are not doing this more frequently. Now, Hera, again, just 6 villagers on the gold over here. No extra infrastructure coming because those are just 2 villagers on the wood, so very unlikely to, you know, he's very unlikely to have additional stable or anything like that very soon. This knight is going to be repelled from Hera. He takes a little bit of damage as well, so that's not going to be that big of a deal. Though, because he can just regenerate with chivalry, but he's going to be repelled completely here. He can't come back anytime soon. And he cannot really dive too deep because this means that, you know, the TC just snipes this unit before it can actually achieve anything. You have 5 villagers on the gold, very conservative from RecoN, and Hera might be getting some more. No, not really. So you're kind of seeing this very nice passive game. Hera just kind of looking for opportunities here. But RecoN has 2 scouts. I do not think there's going to be any opening for Hera to actually do something in this game right now. On the other side of the map, Hera going with 7 villagers now, so it's kind of a build up to a second stable, I think. That's what usually happens. Like if you go up to 10 villagers on the gold, it will lead you to getting that second stable as well, which means you can just double produce cavalry. Obviously, the stable works a little bit slower than the School of Cavalry, since it is like, you know, 20% less production. But this is still very decent overall. And we can see that those knights, again, from Hera being repelled, and they have to back away. So, nothing really big happening, honestly, right here. This School of Cavalry is just going to be used eventually to pump out lots of units. We can see like 7, 8, 9 villagers now for Hera, which is heavily indicative of that second stable coming in soon. RecoN, on the other hand, RecoN is not really probably going towards it. He has 5 villagers on the gold, so single production only. And he loses a single villager, by the way, here because of the Knights of Hera. And he doesn't trade favorably either. So he might get the scout, actually. This is very good, because this allows him to deny some of those kind of extra insights. But he doesn't pull those villagers on time. They are going to get body blocked by the knight, though, so Hera, realizing that, just pulls away. A single villager killed is a decent advantage, though. For Hera, getting that obviously is not huge. It's not going to be game-breaking, but it's just a lot of damage that comes down. You can see also 8 villagers onto that gold right now for RecoN, so RecoN is also going to go towards its second stable anytime soon. We see that actually being built by Hera, very close to School of Cavalry, and we are just going to see probably a decent cavalry count for both players very soon, right? So what I believe is going to be also the case is that, you know, they're going to go forward towards that blacksmith. Obviously the player with the blacksmith first gets a little bit of an advantage. It is just 1 attack with 30 on the knight, so it's not huge, but this is something that, you know, you can just use to his advantage, mathematically speaking. Obviously 1 attack, 1 on armor, though, is a very different story. It's a lot then, because you can reduce it like 2 damage from every attack, and that just adds up to something very big overall as you kind of go forward with the tech. Obviously 2-2 to 0-0 is a very, very big difference as well. So this is going to be, if you can get there, you're obviously kind of doing very well in the game too. Or your opponent is not paying attention, right? So Hera actually charges in here. He almost gets 1 knight of RecoN. RecoN is forced to back away. He micros nicely, actually turns those knights around. He saves them, but at the same time, Hera actually runs this knight in to his own demise. He tried backing. I think he should have just committed to the villager, because he would have killed the villain and traded for a knight. Instead of that, he just loses the villain altogether, and that's all she wrote for that unit. Now we see another stable being built by the French, actually, by the Red French, by RecoN. And RecoN is getting a very, very nice position in this game, I guess, with a little bit more knights. I think he has like 6 to 4. Though there are probably like somewhere in production here. There are 2 more knights coming in. 3 more knights, actually. And Hera is going for a market as well. Instead of blacksmith, he's going to go for a market. This is very surprising. So it might be indicative of the fact that he might go towards that next age up too. Maybe just, you know, he's going to sneakily mine the gold over here, and very likely to be buying the food, or I really don't know what other purpose for the market there might be, but he's probably going to just go for that and try to get some extra edge in this game just by going to castle. chat, why would he build a market here? Is it just a misclick? Did he want to build a blacksmith or build a market instead? Is he just shaking his head right now? That's the question. I think he might be shaking his head right now. Where's my blacksmith? Because that's the expected tech, right? Just go blacksmith, just get those upgrades. I think that's what is happening. No. Okay. Okay. Double market. Question mark? Do you just... You could buy stone, right? You just buy stone, but that's not gonna happen, is it? So Hera is... I don't know what they're gonna do with the market, honestly. They have not bought or sold anything yet. But it's weird, man. It's just weird. I have not seen that before. So you have those knights actually just running around here. Hera looking for opportunities. RecoN not giving him any. There are 5 knights over here defending those villagers gathering food. One is idle, but that's basically not a big deal either. And that's just kind of a safe position for both players. I think they're just going to keep dancing and nothing big is going to happen. We can compare the ecos quickly. 36 for RecoN to 37 from Hera, I guess. 42 from Hera. What the hell? Wait, how did he get so many more villages? Was he so successful? I have not noticed 5 villager kills. That's huge, actually. It's a very big difference. So it's not great for RecoN at all. Actually, having that disadvantage is not great for RecoN, I would say. I would reckon it's not too great for RecoN at all. And this is a big fight, actually. Hera going for a push here, forcing a fight, killing some villagers possibly as well. 2 villagers going down. That's 2 more added, actually. So RecoN has not been on the other side of the map at all. And Hera is just taking every single possible opportunity to kill some villagers, and he's doing super well, actually. So I thought he was not doing too hot with those kills, but he's actually doing very well. You see, blacksmith dropped for RecoN. It's gonna be responded in kind by Hera is the question. We don't see it anywhere, right? It's actually nowhere to be seen. The scary part actually is that Hera is like so far out on the map, and he's not really, being harassed at all. He has had complete freedom over the course of this game. He has numbers disadvantage right now. There are way fewer knights for RecoN, and RecoN is also kind of not really doing anything special at all. He has been just losing villagers and not accomplishing anything with the rest of his units. He has like some extra knights being produced, of course, but Hera is just superior numbers in terms of villagers and army. So we have 16 knights for Hera, 15 knights for Hera. That's actually same number, so it's not bad actually. It's not bad, but the villager count is going to sting as we go into the later game. And also, RecoN has been idling a lot of villagers here. Like, he has been idling lots of vills. Not sure where those guys are. Oh, they are here, hiding in the tower, actually, and they're not being used at all by RecoN over here. They're just ungarrisoned as we speak. Hera, 1 idle vill. 48 villagers to what, like 40 of RecoN? 38, that's terrible. So I think RecoN is on the ropes, actually. Again, we see this kind of happen over and over again. Like, one player takes a very decisive lead in terms of economy, just kind of killing a few villagers, and they just kind of put on the pressure, never stop. I think Hera is just kind of putting a lot more here. I don't know. It's RecoN, not RecoN. I thought it was like I reckon, like that was my read. Maybe that's the reason. Like he's not scouting, man. He's not no. That's I reckon, because he's not scouting at all. Okay, Hera very aware of this incoming push as well. No, that's just completely random. He just pulls his villagers. That's so lucky. He was gonna lose at least 1 vill here, but he was just building the house, man. That's like he just kind of. He basically just goes down to tie his shoe while an arrow is flying his way. He just doesn't realize there's an arrow flying, but he just goes down on his knees to tie that shoe, and he's lucky enough to dodge the arrow here. He really gets this one done. Very luckily here, and we see a very large engagement from the knights. There's a small flank as well from the north, from RecoN. RecoN is actually kind of on the back foot here, though, I think. There's 1 knight dying from Hera, nothing else happens, actually, they disengage. That's a nice trade for RecoN. Every single little lead you can get is obviously very good. And yeah, they're both producing units all the time, so there is no stopping. They're not gonna go up to castle, I think. I'm not sure those markets are going to serve, what purpose those markets are going to serve, though. Yeah, I know what you mean, I know. Okay, oh wait, what the hell? I missed it, Hera's castle age! Oh shit, RecoN is dead! He has to kill Hera right away, he has to kill Hera right now, before the upgrade goes down. I was not paying attention at all, like Hera is just going to go up because I had like my player camera on RecoN. I do not see the age up then. And I was not watching the resources. Hera has gone up to castle. And Hera is actually going to be taking this fight as well, I think. He just needs to get the veteran upgrade going. RecoN actually recognizing what happens. He's gonna get the... He was trying to snipe the upgrade. He doesn't get it, though. And it's gonna be veteran knights against regular knights. So that's gonna be terrible for RecoN, of course. Or RecoN. And RecoN is going to be... Okay, we're gonna start calling him RecoN then. And yeah, he's gonna get slaughtered, because those knights have way more stats. And they are just way more healthy, they have more damage, more armor, right? Every single stat on those guys is just higher. Hera cleans up, Hera wins the game, man. If you're RecoN, just Alt F4 at this point. Goodbye, RecoN. You are 1-1. Okay, goodbye, RecoN. We're gonna stick to RecoN, because I got used to this, man. I got used to this. We're gonna keep calling him RecoN, even though I know it's wrong now. He's idling like 60 villagers. Okay, 6 villagers here. More, because they're not showing as idle, because they're just trying to harvest this little sad freaking sheep over there. But yeah, they're not doing much. No, it's cool, sis. I'm just kidding as well. That's fine. But those veteran knights look dope. Like, the change in the armor set is very nice. Like, they're just gonna... Oh... Okay, that's gonna be glorious charge from Hera. I mean, RecoN is nowhere near, right? RecoN is nowhere near being able to advance. So Hera's able to sneak enough resources out, I think by kind of getting those 2 camps at the back to actually dominate this. And RecoN is actually, you know, just kind of scrambling for control back in his base. But I don't know if he can hold this like any longer, because there's so many units. Okay, there are so many veteran knights in the base of Hera, right? So, in the base of RecoN, knocking on the door. And they're very nicely upgraded as well. They have like so much more attack, they are so much stronger. Hera has the guild code that generates free resources as well, 60 resources every 20 seconds. And the more you have, the more it generates as well, so it's actually really cool. If you can stockpile those. And yeah, RecoN is actually running rampant in Hera's base, maybe forcing him to go back, but honestly, I think Hera can just respond in kind. And he has enough units here to kind of support this too. So he can probably just kind of repel the attackers at the same time as attacking RecoN on here. And he has such a strong army. Those knights are really, really good, right? Sorry, I lost my flow. But those knights are so strong for Hera. They can probably take like, on what, 7 knights can probably take like 12, 13 of RecoN. And those knights of RecoN actually are very pesky. They're being very annoying to Hera, so Hera is not really able to push and end the game yet. But don't get me wrong, guys. RecoN is so far behind right now, and he's just digging himself a deeper and deeper hole the longer this game lasts. So I'm not sure how exactly he sees his way out of this, but that's not gonna work too well, I think. I do not see how exactly, you know, just working with regular Royal Knights against veteran Royal Knights is going to be a good idea. Hera doesn't seem to have a blacksmith either, like at this point. I'm not sure, but it's kind of inconsequential here. RecoN losing extra knights in that chase as well because he missed micros. He takes a very rapid turn. I do not think that's gonna work. RecoN also taking those knights over here from the bottom, charging towards the base of Hera, but I do not think this is gonna work, right? You would need so much time, and Hera has so many more units than RecoN at this point that I do not believe this is even winnable. Look at this. He's gonna get sandwiched here, at least to some extent, and I do not see like any way for RecoN to kind of claw his way back into this. Yeah. So we have like 8 knights over here from RecoN still trying to salvage something in this game. But obviously there's going to be a slaughter of villagers. Again, we see like so many villagers actually in the advantage of Hera. I think we have 52 for RecoN, maybe 50 even to 66. And on top of this, we do see the age up advantage as well. So it is just not looking too pretty at all. I think it's just a matter of time until RecoN realizes he's screwed. Hera has enough at home to hold as well, so it's not going to matter too much. And yeah, RecoN is just getting murdered by the enemy's knights in his own base. He has no gathering available because his units have to be garrisoned to, you know, not to die. So his workers are nowhere on the map. I can't because I rebound this key to something else. I do have like an additional key for this, but I don't remember what it is. I have to check afterwards. I have to check after the game. Once the game ends, I'm gonna check it out really quickly. But it doesn't matter. I don't think Hera cares at all about blacksmith upgrades, to be honest, man. Why do those knights have different attack values, though? Oh, that's charge versus no charge, right? This is kind of the melee attack versus no... with charge mode and without charge. I was kind of surprised. Hey, RecoN, that was kind of fantasy GG, guys. He kind of took long, but he does die in the end. Spells his demise. We are to series after the first 2 games. Am I correct here? Yes, we are. There is an obvious thing, though, that some of you have seen before. RecoN still does have French then, and Hera does not. So Hera has used his golden ticket, and yeah, RecoN still has that available. So he might be able to probably, you know, use that in another map, on a different map where he has the advantage going forward. So that's basically going to be the case probably. And now we have to wait for Hera and RecoN to get ready for the next match as well. So guys, a quick reminder to those of you who are just new to the stream, who have just joined. If you're new, please do consider subscribing to me on YouTube, following me on Twitch, and joining our community Discord. It's really important. Oh, what the finals will look like. I actually talked about this initially, but my favorite was actually killed already. My 2 favorites have been killed because I was actually betting. I think my bets were as follows. So let's have a look at the standings. Sorry. So we have. I thought Kaza would take it because we saw Kaza play very well, like with different civilizations that are not French, and I thought that Kaza would take it, but Kaza was really just deleted by Vortex. Vortex was like way better on the day, and Vortex had way better grasp of what you should do with other civs. So that was basically kind of a different. Story. I thought Marine Lord would take Mr. down because he's an SC2 player, but I'm basically just an SC2 fuckboy, so that's the reason. I believe that was basically the problem, right? For me, I was biased. I could have probably bet on Mr. In this case, I think Hera's gonna go forward, and in this case, I think it's gonna be Viper. We see a decent trend, like kind of showing that those 2 players are. I think they're just very good in the competitive setting. That has very little to do with how good players they are, which I cannot deny because they're just amazing. Both of them are really good at Age of Empires 2. But I do think that Hera and Viper, they've played in so many tournaments that they really know how to handle stress. They know how to handle any sort of pressure. Whereas Lucifron, you know, he used to be, I think he used to be a pro SC2 and Warcraft 3 player. He's all, by the way, Lucifron is the brother of Vortex in this on this table. So basically. Yeah, I think Hera and Viper, they're just kind of way more prepared. Like both Vortex and Lucifron used to play SC2, but they were never really that successful. They were very good, but they were not like extremely good. They were not like Serral good at all. Anyhow, whereas Hera and Viper, they are Serral good right now. So they're just I think like both Hera and Viper, they're like Serral level in Age of Empires 2. So going into AoE 4, I think they just kind of hold a decent advantage with the competitive prowess that they have, with their I don't know, just the idea as to how to approach a longer tournament. So I think they will have just better preparation and maybe a better grasp on the meta, though obviously the way that Mista and Vortex have been playing today, those are very scary players. So I would probably wager there's going to be, I think if we see like this go in the bracket fashion, like if Vortex goes against the Mista, I do think that the Mista will win. We have seen like some very interesting pushes from him. He was very solid overall. And I think Kaz was very disappointing, so I'm not sure like that Vortex's victory here is actually too meaningful in comparison to what Mista did to Marine Lord. Right, plus Mista is actually rank 1 now in my books, because he beat rank 1, which was obviously Marine Lord. Then yeah, I have not seen Lucifron 7 play. So I've seen Hera play OE4, I've seen Viper play OE4. They're both very good players. So if I were to guess, those 2 probably will climb forward and maybe Viper wins, because Viper seems to be higher on the ladder, and Viper seems to also have like a little bit more civilizations in his up his sleeve. Though on the other hand, Hera's been playing a lot. Right, Hera's been playing a lot of different civs. He has played like a ridiculous number of games. Like he has like 277 games played, which is probably more than any other player in the tournament over here. So I think, okay, never mind. It was also Kazva, I think Kazva has a ridiculous number of games played. But aside those two, like the other players do not have even remotely as much practice. So maybe Hera just kind of uses the experience and he moves forward against Viper. So I guess the finals would be, I would bet Hera versus Mista would be the finals here. If the bracket looks like that, so it's going to be winner of this versus winner, like it's going to be winner of Vortex versus Kazva, is going to be Vortex versus Mista. And whoever wins these two games on the other side of the bracket, then I would say Hera and Mista move forward. Obviously, it's just guessing at this point, and they're in the game. So we're gonna go. And by the way, Luciferon has accepted my invitation, so we're gonna be casting the entire tournament today. So the final series of the day also gonna enter the cast. We have not seen a single 3-0, by the way, which is I guess it's optimistic. It's good. It's kind of looking at, because this means that since we have not seen a single 3-0, those are all very good players. Right? Even Kazva, who was slightly behind Vortex in most of the games, I think even Kazva has been a very good performer overall. So kudos to him, I guess. Kudos to Kazva. We are actually waiting for the game to load as we speak, by the way. So yeah, I have to get rid of this as well. I'm gonna go into the casting window. 3 minutes 40, guys. I'm gonna take a very short break, get some water, and we're gonna resume casting because I just ran out of liquid on my side of the desk. I have like a small fortress that protects me against the dog because she has been trying to kind of run rampant and steal my new graphics card. So we're not gonna have that happen, are we? So I'm just gonna have to go over the barricade, get some water, maybe make a very quick coffee because I have 3 minutes, and we're gonna be back. I'm gonna be reinvigorated, and we'll cast this exciting game number 3 between those two players. So be right back. Okay guys, right on time, have a nice cup of espresso here, and we're ready to cast the next series. It's gonna be Hera versus RecoN, game number 3, and yeah, let's get into it, shall we? So guys, without any further ado, spawning in the left upper corner of the map, playing the Rus again. It is Hera trying to prove something. He's trying to show how good Rus can be, because he's really good on the Rus. So I'm not surprised he's playing the Rus, but it is going to be insanely difficult of a matchup, I believe. Once again, because Hera is playing the Rus and RecoN in the right-hand side corner in the east. In yellow, he's playing the French. And it has been a very difficult matchup historically for Rus. That's not true, actually. It's been a very easy matchup historically for Rus. In the game, though, in Age of Empires 4, it is a very difficult one because Rus seems to have a slight disadvantage in terms of the feudal age fights. So it's going to be a big question mark as to whether they're actually going, Hera is going to show his prowess on the civilization or no. By the way, the map is the French Pass. No, it's King of the Hill. It's one of my favorites. Okay, it's going to be interesting. So King of the Hill is a very peculiar map. I was not paying attention to the loading screen, but King of the Hill has those large gold deposits very, very kind of centered on the middle of the map. So you basically have this very small deposit, usually exposed as well, kind of somewhat towards the northeast of your base or northwest, that is kind of going towards the hill, but any good amount of gold is going to be available only if you kind of try to contest those deposits over here, which means that there's going to be a lot of fighting happening over those resources, right? It's very similar to the map called the French Pass, where you have like those gold deposits kind of located in a valley between two hills with two very narrow passages leading into it. This is way more open though. Honestly, this map is also very short on sheep. So if you can actually get a little bit of an advantage over your opponent, you obviously should go for that. Hera going towards 2 villages on the wood, 9 on foot right now, and he's going to send a second scout out to kill those deer. Then you have this village over here trying to maybe look for a hunt nearby the base of his opponent. He does actually miss those 2, I think, though I'm not really sure how many he was able to get. I was not following that too closely. 206, so he was actually able... So, actually, Hera must have been able to clean up all those hunts so far. So he cleaned up these 2. He gets this one as well. He gets this one. He's also very close to being able to advance. 2 minutes 30 into the game, he's actually going to be able to... I think he must have located all the hunts but this one, which is probably going to be stolen by RecoN. And, yeah, he's going to go up to feudal. Starting at 240 with 4 villagers... 5 villagers. There's going to be a very, very fast age up for the Rus. On the other side of the map, our player RecoN here starting his school of cavalry. Slightly later, of course, but still on a very decent footing here. And yeah, it's looking very, very interesting as a matchup here, because, Hera able to accumulate a lot of those bonuses. You can see them over here. 290, so he has tier 2 unlocked already. Hunting for those wolves right now, isn't he? And he's trying to just reset those auto attacks. As you can see, that's a very cool micro trick. So if you attack very quickly in succession and move like A move, A move, A move, you can get those very, very quick arrow attacks from the scout, which are normally not possible, right? It's just you have very long wind-up animation. If you reset that auto attack very nicely, if you know how to do this, you can just basically get it like 80% of the time. And this gives you like way more cleanup potential, both on the animals on the map, and on potentially like the deer if you're contesting with your opponent. See, so he's actually doing this right now again. He's kind of moving up, getting one shot. Here he fails, so he doesn't get that. See how long the wind up normally is? Takes like 2 seconds, and he does reset now. He gets it, and he gets the reset again. So it's about like A moving very, very quickly. It's kind of a nice, neat trick that you can pull off with the scout. If you are good at Rus, you'll probably know this already. If you're not, then it's kind of important to realize that there is this nice auto attack reset for the scouts. By the way, it's not hard to execute at all. It takes like 10 seconds of practice, and you can do it like 60-70% of the time. Hera, of course, has been playing a crapload of Rus and some more, so he knows exactly what to do, and yeah, he's just going to be a master of this matchup, I think. So, in terms of resource gathering, by the way, if you guys are curious, we have this single hunting cabin placed here, and there is nothing more special happening for Hera. He's not going for the wooden fortress because I think there's another feature of this map, by the way, that's very nasty, especially for those civs that want to go archer pike or archer spear actually, because there are very few wood lines near your base. There's basically one that spawns near you, and anything else you have to go really far off to get to, and that's very nasty unless you can get a very quick second TC, which yeah, cough cough, Rus can do. So I think we're gonna see Hera actually just kind of maybe put this second TC conveniently between these two wood lines over here, because he can just get it very quickly, you know, selling, buying that, you know, stone with this bonus here and just kind of acquiring a little bit of additional wood. I think he's gonna go for that relatively soon. I don't think there's any reason to delay this, of course, though. Getting the second TC too soon means you have no army to deal with the French aggression, which is gonna be coming your way at some point. The nice bit for the Rus, though, of course, is that they have the knights of their own. So, you know, the Rus knights are kind of basically comparable to the knights of the French. The only difference being that the knights of the French are actually going to be able to regenerate the HP using that special tech called chivalry. Whereas the knights of the Rus do not have access to the technology. So, you know, the tech isn't there yet, in other words. Which unfortunately means that if you take those short trades with French cavalry, you're going to basically be able to recoup a lot of that HP, and whatever damage you take as the Rus knight is going to stick unless you have a priest nearby and you can just actually use that to your advantage, right? Other than that, you're just gonna have to kind of, you know, bite the bullet on that one and just kind of deal with the fact that your knights are going to be less healthy overall if the French does research that cavalry, the chivalry bonus that is. By the way, Hera heavily on gold, so he's definitely going for the second TC very soon. I think he's just gonna mine a lot. He's gonna use those bonuses here. He's gonna utilize that the Golden Gate bonus here to purchase some extra stone and purchase some extra wood as well if he can, because he's just getting a lot of gold right now, right? For that very particular reason, he's going to be able to just get a decent economy. Now, that's very scary though for Hera. He loses at least 1-2 villagers here. Those knights are gonna run rampant in his base. Actually, this one, oh, he might escape with his life just barely. Oh no, 2 HP, 3 HP, 3 HP on the knight of RecoN, and it seems like he's actually gonna get away with that. There's a knight from, however, on the other side there was a knight harassing from Hera. I'm not sure how much he accomplished with that, to be honest, though. So, this might be kind of an interesting meeting in the middle. Like, one of those knights is gonna kill the other. They have knight, that's kind of a lancing duel. Oh, they kill each other! Oh no! I was really rooting for Hera's knight, but they just kind of clash in the middle, they just kill each other, and that's that. Oh no. Oh no, man. Ah, that was a jousting match, but it was not a successful joust, guys. For either of the knights, they just kill each other heroically. What a sad story. Okay, so those three lancers or early knights of the Rus over here. And we have this single knight actually trying to kill the scout of RecoN. I'm not sure how well he succeeded that. He might actually, Hera might get the kill here. No, he doesn't. RecoN pulls away on time actually, or pulls out on time. With those villagers, he's gonna be just fine here. This scout, by the way, apparently is going to live too. Okay, Hera is not anywhere near getting that next TC. That's kind of weird. I would have expected him to have that already. I guess he realizes that maybe just going 2 TC cripples his production too much. That's what happened to our 2 previous Rus matchups today. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, sis. That's exactly what I wanted to say here. Yep. Poor jousters, man. Poor jousters. What a crazy freaky word it is to joust in English. Jesus, who came up with that? Probably Shakespeare. That's probably not the case. Do you guys know that this is a myth actually? Because people keep saying that Shakespeare invented so many words in English. Like they say, you know, like 30% of contemporary vocab even can be attributed to Shakespeare. They say like 2,000 words can be attributed, and so on and so forth. It's all a fluke actually. It's all a myth. Because Shakespeare barely introduced about like 300 words to English of his day. That's what the research has to say about it anyway. So, That was tragic as well. There are lots of myths actually surrounding Shakespeare overall. There's also a myth that says like Shakespeare had like really huge vocabulary, by the way, which is totally not the case as well. Like Ben Jonson had bigger vocabulary than him, for instance, on average anyway. So again, we're back to French versus French. I don't know why I'm picking out those Shakespeare factoids during this fight here, but there's nicer. They're jousting, okay, they're jousting. So there was a nice exchange happening over here. So yeah, Shakespeare has been mythologized heavily anyway, and this fight is not going the way of RecoN. RecoN is really losing those knights more frequently than Hera here. Obviously, chivalry should kick in, and it should allow those knights to regenerate, but this is not that not that great overall. That's also fake. Yeah, he has not made 45k words. He made like 500, 400 tops based on the existing corpus research, which is crazy. Okay, there is a fight breaking out here. Honestly, I do not like this for Hera because his knights are hurt, and he's taking this very unfavorable engagement. Also, RecoN pulls away with all those kind of low HP knights, and Hera just kind of goes back for re-engage once again. He doesn't do much though. There's crazy micro juggling here though. Oh, Hera does get one more kill here. He re-engages. Oh, this did not work well for Hera, man. This did not work well for Hera. He loses the majority of his knights, and RecoN survives with the majority of his. I'm a teacher of... I teach linguistics at university, Haunted. So I know my linguistics shit. I'm writing a PhD in corpus linguistics. So in language statistics, basically. Hence, I know the research. But so, in a way, I'm an English teacher, yes. You can say that. Okay, so we have actually Hera Knight. He goes in, he doesn't do enough to kill a villager, and he survives. Okay, that's nice. That's not terrible. So, over here, though, there is still no second TC for Hera, as far as I'm concerned. There's a lot of gold for Hera. He has the Golden Gate continuously trading. He's very good at using the Golden Gate advantage. I would honestly not mind seeing, you know, a TC dropped even here. Although, like, securing a wood line, of course, would be nice. I think at some point you just need to do this, because this is just completely gone right now, and you have no more wood access at all. Okay, so there are some pikes for RecoN, by the way. So RecoN is going to have some sort of a response here in this game. To those Knights of Hera, but Hera actually was able to eliminate a large portion of Knights of RecoN, though. We have to say that, like, RecoN did lose a like, I don't know where those Knights went for. Oh, there are 2 here, I guess. Let's see. Hera has 12 Knights as all his army. RecoN has 6 spears, no, 7 spears, 6 Knights. So it's a very decent situation. Oh, please don't talk. Let's not talk about Finnegan's Wake. Okay, no. I tried. What wasn't my favorite read? Okay, we're gonna talk about that later, because there's a big fight over here, and I think Hera is gonna take this. Actually, he's very close to cleaning up here, though he loses a significant portion of his own army. However, RecoN is actually gonna lose at least 2 free villagers here from the Rus. So Hera, nice micro, he cuts off that villager, he cuts her down, he leaves with all those cav as well. So 3 knights, surprisingly enough, survive that engagement, and they're just gonna get out of there. Oh no, that's a miss micro though, he doesn't back off those knights on time, and he's going to lose 1 more. Hera also sending extra villagers here to build a mining camp? Why is he going for so much gold here though? I'm actually surprised. No, you know, like, I don't mind getting a lot of gold. He has 1200 in the bank, he's going for more. I'm not really sure why. RecoN has 21 idle villagers because he was probably forced to, you know, garrison them all in the TC. Nobody's going for stone, dude. Nobody's getting any additional stone at all, which is a bit surprising, I guess. And there's a nice clash of the knights here happening near the hill, actually, and looks like RecoN has a nice advantage in terms of numbers here, which is also going to mean that Hera loses some villagers over here too. So RecoN is gonna charge downstairs here. He's gonna kill a single villager of Hera's, and again, those villagers are gonna help. They're gonna be pulled. So Hera pulls the boys and the girls, and he's actually gonna go into a fight against RecoN's knights with the villagers of his own. So it's going to be villagers defending their own land. It's also quite scary. I'd love to see some sort of defensive infrastructure here, because you know those mining camps over here, they're super exposed, and I really hate to see like villagers dying for no reason. There could be a wooden fortress here, and they'll be just fine, but that's not happening. For now, we see like lots of hurt knights actually repelling the aggression of RecoN. And RecoN is sitting here at home with very low army count, I think, at this point. So we have 4 knights, 6 pikes to 6 knights of Hera. Both armies basically resetting completely here. And those players are not really letting go, are they? Hera might eventually go for it. Okay, why? Guys, like, you probably know stuff about the game that I don't. Why is he going for a market when he has Golden Gate? Does he want to keep trading more, actually? Does he want to just kind of trade every single inch of gold that he has, every single bit of gold that he has? I guess that's the reason, right? He can't trade beyond the limit, I guess, on the Golden Gate. So that's the problem. So there is a knight again running rampant in the base, so he gets a single villager kill. He's probably going to die for it, but he does actually get some small economical lead again. 39 villas for Hera, by the way, to 55 for RecoN. So, what? That's a huge lead, what the hell? So RecoN is really ahead in this game actually right now. So having been able to kill all those villagers is actually going to be great. And not only that, Hera does get that final bonus tier, but only now. It is 16 minutes in the game, and only now does Hera get that final bonus to the economy. He also builds that wooden fortress. Very idle, lots of idle villagers, by the way, for Hera. I'm surprised to see that, but he's actually keeping a lot of those very, very idle over here. So you see a little bit of a fight here. There is also a house being built for Hera for some reason over here. He takes that fight, not sure if that's reasonable. He has lots of low HP knights who are going to probably just drop dead over here. He loses all of them for no real gain at all. And Hera is getting smashed. I think Hera is gonna lose this match, man. It's not looking great for Hera, is it? Obviously, this wooden fortress contributing to the DPS those units are doing, so if you can fight around it, that's great, but honestly, they just run out of the range, and lots of villagers from Hera are gonna die again, man. There's so many dying already. Look at this, 2 at least, 3, probably 4 maybe even gonna die. No, it's actually 1. What was that micro RecoN? Come on. But RecoN is gonna re-engage once again. Look at this, he's gonna take more knights again. Hera is not keeping up with the production, he has not enough resources actually anymore. So he's running out of fuel. And yeah, look at this, Hera's villages are in shambles. Hera's gonna lose like 3-4 villages more at the very least right now. He has no production anymore, and it's gonna be a huge problem right now. So he has like too much gold, I guess. He just mines too much gold in the end. I know I just thought he had like a plan for that gold. Like I didn't think he was just kind of gathering so much of it for no reason. And it's a very big fight over here right now. Villagers pooled, I think Hera is dead. RecoN is gonna take this game. He's gonna be 2-1 in the series. Yeah, Hera is dead. He surrenders, and the French. So Hera is not able to send the pressure to the French. Legendary. Is legendary on the stream? Not good enough. Not even remotely good enough for what RecoN has brought to the table. In terms of military, RecoN wins. In terms of eco, RecoN wins. In terms of tech, RecoN wins, guys. So timeline-wise, in terms of villager count, look at this. Like, there's a huge discrepancy kind of growing as the game progresses. That's because Hera was not on 2TC, I guess. Military count, ridiculous difference as well, because that production was very much impeded by the number of villagers that Hera had. He took some good fights in a kind of under several circumstances. He was able to actually get good fights, but he was not able to transition from there into something good and kind of take any big leads from that, right? So he took this one big fight over here, which he basically just negated any advantage that RecoN had, but he was not really able to extend it into anything, and then he actually he went for those greedy gold mines actually that I really do not understand too well, and he lost so much there. So many villagers actually exposed to his opponents, they all just died, and yeah, RecoN just took the series from there. I think Rus are just one of those quirky civs. I do believe that's the case, right? Rus just requires some more time, and they require some more mastery then. Because, yeah, I would not have expected RecoN to win against Hera's Rus. And Hera is super good on Rus, he still loses. Okay, make of it what you will. I'm not gonna talk about balance here, because we are very early into the game. We have no idea how the balance works. The fact stands, though, Hera is going to be at a huge advantage. Guys, All the new viewers here, I invite you guys to follow me on Twitch, to leave me a subscription on YouTube, and also to provide me with a like below the video so that I know that you guys are enjoying yourselves. If you are, please click the like button there to make the stream more visible on YouTube, of course. Make the algorithm work for us a bit. We're waiting for Hera to pick another game, so it's gonna be a little bit of time, I believe, before they can go into the next game. Yeah, I know. I know how they work. Yeah, I played some Rus. So, but I felt like he had a plan for that gold. You know, he was just gathering so much of it, but he really wasn't spending it on anything useful. So it was weird. Honestly, it was very strange of a game from Hera. I don't understand what he was planning to do with that. Maybe like the correct choice would be to wall off a little bit, like at least a section of the map could be walled off so that you could like kind of mine comfortably, not lose villagers to garbage. Like that was kind of weird of a game, man. I don't understand what he did there. Obviously, RecoN very good on French actually. That has to be said. Like he played super well, and Hera just not enough to beat him. Hera just didn't bring enough to the game. So yeah, RecoN wins. RecoN is 2-1 in this best of 5, guys. Very cool. So we might actually not see Hera even go up here. I'm very surprised to see this, but yeah, RecoN might actually just completely remove Hera from the tournament, honestly. I'm gonna look up the I'm gonna look up RecoN. I actually don't know what he was playing before. I did look him up before, I just don't remember. I can't remember for shit. Here we go. See, he's an AoE 2 player as well. I reckon he's an AoE 2 player. He used to compete in AoE 2 and in Age of Empires. Oh, he's from he's from Age of Empires Online, the big forgotten title. That was actually a game I kind of thought and I did entertain playing that, but it was kind of play to win-ish in a way, right? You had to unlock a lot of stuff. It was kind of a greedy business model, so I never bothered to play it. At least what it seemed to be a greedy business model. I'm not sure how exactly it worked, but when I was I was a kid back then, I think, and I was just heavily discouraged by the fact that there was like lots of microtransactions there. You had to unlock civilizations for money and shit. It was kind of quirky. So I kind of decided against it. But now we have DLCs, so DLC just basically work the same way. You just have to unlock new civ pack for money. So I guess whatever. It is what it is. Okay, this being said, like we were looking at Hera actually, you know, the verge of defeat. From the hands of a somewhat less known player. Let's face it, Hera is like considered to be the Cyril of Age of Empires 2, whereas RecoN, like he's less known. Like he used to play Age of Empires Online, and that's basically all he had been able to achieve. But right now, he's looking like, you know, a very, very competitive player in the tournament overall. So can't wait to see what exactly comes out of this. Oh, it's free now. Yeah, but it's too late, right? Isn't it? Like, because we have. I do not think like Age of Empires 2 even is worse than Age of Empires Online. It might be different, but you get what I mean, right? Then we have Age of Mythology, which is also very good. We have Age of Empires 4 right now, so I think Age of Empires Online is just dead. They blew it with a business model early, right? It was just I remember there was just a lot of really nasty shit in AO. I kind of was very discouraged from playing that, so I prefer to kind of. I know, I just don't understand those ideas where you have to just unlock so much for money. I think there are like elite versions of units that you can unlock as well. There's just lots of crazy shit there. I'm not sure about the specifics, but it didn't look good, man. It didn't look good in my eyes. So yeah. Here we are, guys. Hera 1, RecoN 2. And we're looking, I mean, Hera is looking down the barrel of RecoN's gun right now, and he really has to figure out a nice way of solving the series at this point. There are no French picks available anymore, right? So they have to play something else. We have seen Mongols win as well, right? Hera was killed by Mongols then, so no Mongols for RecoN, no French for RecoN. Hera cannot play French anymore either. So we shall see what exactly those guys are gonna do. We shall see whether they're going to persevere or no. Obviously, I'm kind of hoping that Hera bounces back. I would like to see Hera move on. He's such a chill, positive guy. I don't know RecoN, though. He might be a chill, positive guy as well, though. So, you know, not biased at all. I will see how those series play out. And may the better player win. May the better player win, indeed. So they're in the lobby now, so again, we're gonna kind of have to take a small recess, I believe. Anyway, thank you for chatting so much, Haunted. You're very welcome on this stream, of course. I'm glad that you kind of drop by and you talk about AoE. I'm very glad that, you know, we have some loyal viewers for this game as well. Because I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm kind of a variety streamer, I guess. I got big because of Darkest Dungeon. I used to cast lots of PvP there with Civs, the guy who is on the chat with you. So that was kind of our start. We cast lots of tournaments. We have them recorded as well on my YouTube. So if you're interested, you can look those out. Look those up. Those are very cool events because we were just kind of organizing them on our own, and it was very cool to kind of talk about those games. Civs also has like a sick voice. I really wish he had been able to get that Age of Empires 4 running on his computer so that we could actually cast together as well. Because that's just, yeah, that's just kind of something I do deeply regret. Like not being able to dual cast with anybody right now. And Civs was such a good co-caster, man. Question mark. Says just get a normal PC so we can actually cast a fucking game or two. So we used to cast Darkest Dungeon together. That was a very nice competitive PvP mode then, but it was also discontinued, quote unquote, whereby they just stopped developing it completely. And then, there's also a game starting, so we can go into observe. And we have to is going to be like fuck. Okay. Okay, we have Abbasid versus Abbasid, guys. I'm just gonna pull it up on the screen so that you guys can see the proof. It's gonna be double Abbasid game. I'm not sure what the map is though. It's cool. Hill and Dale. Oh, okay, cool, lovely, lovely, lovely. Can't wait for this. So Hill and Dale, another kind of semi-open map. Really interesting to see how those guys manage that. And then actually, I went from Age of Empires. Sorry, I went from Darkest Dungeon to World of Warcraft. I was actually semi-successful as well. I've been streaming a while, but I got bored of the current patch, so I'm just waiting for the next one. So we might do some World of Warcraft in the future too, once it releases some more content, of course, because the current one is, I just played too much of it already. So I'm just kind of waiting for a new content patch to drop, and then we might stream some more World of Warcraft too. Of course, that's quite exciting. And then, obviously, once Age of Empires 4 released, I'm a huge RTS fan. I couldn't stream StarCraft because I have always been too bad at this. Like, I'm like low master tier, and I don't feel like I'm too good. I'm good enough at least at SC2 to show it to the world, and nobody was really interested. I tried streaming that, but my current community, they have been like not too enthusiastic, so to speak, about like an RTS that is kind of, first of all, set in alien reality, which is not the theme of my regular streams, first of all, and then second of all, like sci-fi alien tech, not really my guy's thing. And then it was also too fast of an RTS, I think. So yeah, we are kind of going towards Age of Empires 4 right now, of course, and I'm enjoying playing that. So I hope the streams do get some traction in the end. So yeah, we're just waiting for the game to load right now, guys. 3 minutes on the clock. So as I said, you're most welcome to subscribe on YouTube. Costs you $0. You can also purchase a membership on YouTube, which costs you $3 per month, and that gives me a decent amount of support, of course, as well. Like the video, as I said, just to kind of get us up on YouTube a bit more. And we're just waiting. We're just waiting for that matchup to begin. It's going to be very exciting, actually. Here we have actually seen some Abbasid mirrors before, right? There was an Abbasid mirror in the qualifiers. There was one that it looked like it was almost staged, but one side actually dominated the other quite heavily. So I have it on my YouTube. I might actually look it up quickly. I don't remember who it was. But in that Abbasid mirror that we saw was like very one-sided. One player just really had a clear idea as to how to play the Abbasid, the other not so much, so to speak. So it was not the greatest series in the world, right? It was not the greatest series in the world, let's face it. By the way, if you guys have not been thanked, if you did actually subscribe and you are on the chat, because I see that the subscriber numbers are going up quite a bit, and there was no announcement about that, it's because somehow the alerts are not working. I don't know why sometimes they're just not registered by Streamlabs if you sub on YouTube. So if you say hello and you say you subscribe, it'll obviously welcome you with open arms. Just let me know that you're there, guys. Yeah, just that. I'm just trying to look for that. I think it was like Kazma versus Black Widow, and both of them picked Abbasid, and only Kazma knew how to play them. I think that was the idea. It was very sad because it was a very fast game. I was looking forward to the Abbasid mirror, and it was just basically, you know, a quick smash, and that was all she wrote for the sad players. Yeah, it wasn't really too long of a fight, or. Yeah, nobody really put up a fight there. Like there was, Kazma was just super decisive with the Abbasid, which is strange because he just kind of got smacked today and died, right? So, yeah, I'm still kind of grieving, guys. I'm still kind of grieving Kazma because I had high hopes for them, man. I had really high hopes for them, and he just dies. Very unfortunate, to be honest. That was very, very unfortunate. And now we have, yeah, maybe the deciding game. If Hera loses here, he's just out of the tournament. So we might have to look for a new pick as to that might win the entire thing, which probably will be the Mista then, I guess. I would say the Mista is looking like a very strong favorite. 10 seconds before the match begins, guys. Are we hyped? Because it's going to be a very cool match. I think we have not seen much of Abbasid play today. Let's go. Okay, guys, the map is Hill and Dale. In the north, in the blue, it's Hera playing the Abbasid Dynasty. In the south, in the red, it is RecoN also playing the Abbasids. The difference being, though, no, there's no difference really. They're just both playing the same faction, guys. There's nothing else to say. This is a very interesting map, because Hill and Dale is going to be a very turtly one altogether. This one usually provides you... That's the difference between the matchups, I think. Because this is something that you can wall off very effectively. You can just get a stone wall here, stone wall here, stone wall here. We've seen several players do this. We have seen Hero Marine do this. We have seen Kazva do this. We have seen Tato do this. Probe... No, Hero Marine. Marine Lord, of course. So all those players have been actually walling this map quite heavily and going for the late game. So this is something that we should kind of brace ourselves for. I'm very curious as to how exactly this plays out, but I guess like we're gonna go for a very early, very early H2, because both, obviously both civilizations, Abbasids always benefit quite a bit from having that early H2 because they can research the foodstuffs. I think it's called fresh foodstuffs. There's the upgrade from their House of Wisdom. Economic wing, and this allows them to produce the villages at 50% cost, which obviously means that they get a lot of extra resources to spend elsewhere. So it's very important that you do this as the Abbasids. Another thing that Abbasids need to kind of remember about is their base architecture, because they thrive if the bases are kind of compact. Because like the more links you can establish between each building, your buildings basically, if you play Abbasid, they are supposed to form a city. That is linked to the House of Wisdom. If you can build that link, for every 10 buildings, you get a nice special bonus, which provides you with, I think it's about, the Golden Age is about every 10 buildings. So every 10 buildings are going to provide you with the Golden Age tier, and every single tier of the Golden Age is going to basically contribute to getting more resources gathered and more production as well, which is pretty cool. Now, Abbasids also do not age up like traditional civs, as you guys probably know. So they age up through this House of Wisdom. You guys can see, by the way, this is the progress towards the next Golden Age, right? There are 3 tiers, as I said. So The Abbasids do not need to build a landmark. Their landmark is the House of Wisdom, and the House of Wisdom will actually be, you know, just researching and or constructing additional wing, which means they do not really have to spend any money, any villagers on aging up. However, at the same time, okay, RecoN is very far ahead in terms of the timing, you know, getting to the next age. So instead of just kind of take a bit longer to just get the research going in this House of Wisdom, which is pretty cool. You get some really unique upgrades. So usually the build is that you go for this you go for the economic wing first, giving you the access to fresh foodstuffs, as I said, which is going to give you lower villager cost. And then you go, that's very good tech, right? That's very nice tech. And then I think this way, I would say this is not that great. Unless you can get to Imperial Age, I think these bonuses are kind of whatever, almost. And this one is also buggy. I think this one is not necessarily perfect. I think this doesn't work as advertised. Whereas the economic wing for the Abbasids actually gives you the access to minus 30% cost of all tech, which is very good if you're in castle, because you can just get this first, and if you have the time to research everything else, this means that any tech that you get from castle onwards is going to give you, like, you know, a little bit of return on investment, because you're just going to be spending a little bit less gold, a little bit less food or wood on those upgrades as well. Now, as far as the resource growth goes, both players are getting towards 125 gold, I think. That is the golden mean for getting the tech, 125 required by the fresh foodstuffs. From there, you can probably stop gathering gold altogether, just try to, you know, buckle up a little bit, get some defensive layers here in your base, and just prepare for a longer game. That's what I would suspect is going to happen. Though those players have been actually surprising us quite a bit, and what we saw last week is in no way indicative of what might happen today. So I might be completely wrong. This might go into a very quick rush and end right there. Though again, a big question as to how exactly those timings go, how well they scout each other, and so on and so forth. So RecoN ages up like 10 seconds sooner than Hera, I think. I think it's going to be about 10, yeah. 10 seconds sooner. And nothing really big comes out of it. He starts that fresh foodstuffs immediate. No, he doesn't. Hera does. So Hera is going to use his extreme amount of experience to just get that tech going sooner. However, RecoN here kind of sloppy, I guess, because every single like second that passes when you cannot get this. Maybe I think it was just villager production cycle, though he did not want to interrupt that, so it's kind of logical, I guess. He might be just going too heavily onto wood. I think that's the reason why he did that. Both players obviously on stone as well, so they're going to go towards the second TC, so it's going to be a larger macro game. You see actually this being dropped immediately by RecoN. Probably Hera looking for a spot for a TC of his own as well. He's 10 stone away. So those villagers, I think RecoN just kind of overestimated how many vills he needed on that wood. We might actually see 3 TC builds as well. I think it's kind of likely to happen. Hera dropping one very close to the entrance of his base. Okay, on the hunt and on the berries, I like this placement that kind of is going to allow you to get a lot of extra food into this mid game. And you know, both players playing a very conservative game, I guess. No military constructions going down at all. So there's no infrastructure indicating that those guys might be going for a rush. Quite the contrary, actually, they're both playing a safe and steady game of just, you know, wait and build up your eco. Hera goes into the base confirming what he probably already suspects. This is going to be a very chill game, especially in the early stages of it. You know, scouts trading blows, nothing special really happening here. There's a house going down. Phew, not much actually going down indeed. Hera slightly behind on this build, so he's like 10 seconds, 15 seconds behind the TC of his opponent, so maybe 20 even. And he's not producing villagers at the same rate, so he's going to be slightly behind the eco. But if the game kind of drags out, there are no trades happening early, I don't think this matters too much. RecoN as well, using this opportunity to wall, whereas Hera not really there yet. Hera just kind of, I guess he recognizes there's not much going to happen here, so he's just cognizant of the fact that, you know, you can just move around with those units. He's cancelling those autos, look at this, so he's actually doing a lot of damage by just kind of cancelling the auto attacks of the scout. He might just get the kill on the villager from this. Alright, long wind up. One more shot though, it dies. Oh my god, 1 HP guys, 1 HP and this villager lives. In the end, so it's kind of unfortunate, but RecoN saves that one, salvages the situation, sent another villager out to build, And this is just going to be the palisade wall. I've seen Tato build stone walls here. I've seen Probe building stone walls as well. I've seen Hero Marine build stone walls, so the meta has obviously changed a bit. This being a Telltale map, though, I do not suspect there's going to be much action happening anytime soon, so just kind of look at the economies. So you have the total of 30 villages for RecoN and probably 29, 28. 30 as well for Hera, actually, so they were even Steven here, despite Hera getting the second TC quite a bit later than his opposite number of here on the Abbasid. So, very straight up game, honestly. We're building walls as well. Hera is going for his own fortifications here. Might be able to trap his opponent in the base unless the scout is not careful, if the scout is not careful. And there is no good escape, because this way here is going to be scary because there is a TC, so it's going to be blocking the entrance, not a good place to leave through. I was kind of looking, I thought that, you know, if you are going to play on Hill and Dale, you will see some players going for Chinese. Because Chinese are very good in those very long 30 situations, obviously not happening over here. So I think Tato went for the Chinese and he really dominated his opponent there. When he was playing against Kazva, I think that was a very good game versus Kazva, so Tato was actually able to eke out a very nice lead as the Chinese and just destroy his opponent. So Kazva was defeated by the Chinese on this map. I think Kazva was playing the Abbasid as well, so it's interesting. The artillery of the Chinese is just very strong. You're very safe to produce it. You also have the Barbican if you need. And actually just microing your eco when there is no big stuff happening on the map is also quite easy, right? So that's why I think Chinese are going to thrive on this map overall. But you need to know how to play them, so it's obviously not so easy to do. It takes some proficiency, and I don't think maybe those players are courageous enough. Castle Rush, Castle Rush happening for both players, I think. Hera going up. RecoN going up to castle as well. I guess Cultural Wing is the poison of choice for both players. It is indeed that. I'm not really sure. I don't think Trade Wing is great unless you're going for a 2v2 play, and they obviously have like those markets that you can use from your ally that are, you know, safely secured, and then you can just kind of utilize those bonuses. Right now, I don't think that's a big deal at all for those players. So they're probably gonna go for culture and military to get the extra bonus from the boot camp specifically. That's a very good tech. Another important thing, by the way, is that the Abbasids have very good trash, right? They're actually going to be able to compete with... I think I had a game where I was able to compete with the Strelce of the Rus by just massing my archers, because you have that extra cool technology here that gives you 25% reload time with the archers. So if you can get to the Imperial Age and get those, you know, the spam of archers, really, you're going to be very, very happy with that, you know, basically how that plays out. Unless your opponent obviously gets Mongols, right? Because then you're just going to get slaughtered by them. But this is a very good tech for archers. You have nice tech for spears if you're going to go against cavalry as well. You have the nice kind of ultimate infantry tech. Extra HP for those MAAs is also going to be quite decent. So overall, I think like Abbasids have a lot of very nice tech that allows you to kind of, you know, prosper if you can build up throughout those ages, of course. So we see some eco upgrades as well. I think on this map it's kind of we can assume that it's gonna happen, right? I guess that's how it's gonna go. So actually, just kind of have a look at this. So Hera prioritizing the wood upgrades, not really going for anything else. Specialized pick going down, so there is a mining upgrade for RecoN, and probably no player actually has gone for wheelbarrow, which is surprising because there's going to be a long macro game, and I would expect them to just get that ASAP. Nothing of that sort is happening actually, and I think Hera is slightly behind in terms of the timing, but he has a lot of food, so he might actually go towards that. So you might see Hera actually going towards that very fast imp as well, because he has a lot of resources already at this point, so you might just kind of build up towards that next age up and just kind of go up, clicking that imp really, really soon as well. The economy is, of course, very close. I don't think they have anything else to do but to build eco, so they're very close in terms of villager counts, like slightly behind in the case of RecoN. And actually, they're going on the map, so both players are moving out. We have a Mangonel here, so there's gonna be some fighting in the castle age. So there's no fast castle, so far, no fast imp for Hera, actually. He also does not want to get this preservation of knowledge tech, which is kind of surprising to me, because he can get a lot of value here, of course. This is already like a decent amount, like there's gonna be like 100 resources saved from this. All the blacksmith upgrades also quite expensive, so you can save a lot of money by investing into this. But obviously Hera probably has other worries on his mind. He did scout this kind of small incoming attack with, you know, with a Mango, with a single Springled, so he's just going to have to be ready to repel this to some extent. We see 2 Springles being built as well, and obviously Abbasids have the free siege engineers so they can match each other's tech choices. We have like lots of archers over here, and you have 3 Springles to defend from this incoming push. There's a scout from RecoN kind of confirming that, you know, Hera does have some military, and we're gonna see a small engagement. I think those Springles, of course, over here going to be quite a bother. There is a Mango, and Hera does actually dodge those shots. Those Springles of Hera do actually kill the Knight, I think. Yeah, they should kill the Knight. Yeah, they do. But they have to back away because there are Springles from the side of RecoN as well. 3 of them, no less, is going to be an even count. Though Hera has a, you know, uphill advantage that he sees more, and he's probably going to be very comfortable in this position over here. I do not think that that RecoN can get much done over here. We obviously do see a Mango in comparison to 4 Springles of Hera. 4 Springles from RecoN as well coming up right now, so it's going to be quite a tight battle, I guess. We see crossbows being produced by our northern Abbasid player, I guess, and those Springles are going boldly towards the lineup of RecoN. They're actually gonna kill a single Springle of RecoN as well. 2 go down, so 2 for 1 so far, and Hera disengages. So it's actually a very nice trade, and you have 5 Springles for Hera to 3 of RecoN, so there's going to be a lot of damage traded back again. So another Springle goes down. Hera is very good at macro here, so he's going to micro those very well. Those are kind of difficult to do because they have to unpack. It's kind of difficult to move them and manage them properly. But Hera has so many Springles that basically just repels any sort of aggression. I think Hera has the possibility to move across the map himself now. Basically, this push from RecoN did not accomplish much, and Hera is just ready for it. He had the scout in place. He saw that coming from a mile away. He was prepared, and he's just kind of getting a nice lineup of artillery so that he can actually potentially attack his on his own, right? So it's going to be a very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting development now. We might see Hera actually moving forward, and with this number of Springles, actually, because he traded so efficiently, he might be able to do some damage, or at least, you know, establish a position on the map. He has a lot of crossbows as well, so those Knights should no longer be too scary. They have a lot of pierce damage, right? They have +6 damage against heavy, which obviously is what a Lancer is. Lancers are heavy, so they're going to be doing a lot of damage to those, which means that crossbows are just very, very decent at dealing with all the armored forces of their opponents. I do not see... Okay, we see the fitted leatherwork being researched as well. We actually had all those ranged upgrades for Hera 2 being done. So it's actually kind of good in terms of tech. On the side of RecoN, we do have only 2 upgrades for the ranged armor. There is no ranged damage, there is no melee damage. There is 1 melee armor upgrade going to. So that's not really much, is it? This being said, those Springles over here are going to move up. They're going to try to look for some picks. Probably they'll find some villagers up the hill here. So 1 villager goes down, and the Springle disengage. This, you know, anything you can get here is nice, actually. And obviously Hera has a bit more comfort right because he's on the attacking side right now. So if you can just kind of keep RecoN contained, you can probably expand. Like, Hera can expand towards this kind of middle gold veins. Maybe get like a TC established, build a fort. Take the sacred side even, I guess. That would be nice, getting that nice source of income. That's a lot of gold actually that you can get. And Hera is actually going towards that base of RecoN, but that, you know, that ram obviously doesn't stand a chance against like 5 Springles here. So the ram doesn't die, surprisingly. I think he could have just killed it, but I guess he just doesn't want to risk trading those Springles away. Instead, he just disengages, and we see Hera actually just kind of slowly sieging on this palisade gate over here. Those Springles are very powerful against Knights, by the way, so it's going to be very difficult of a task as far as dealing with those goes. I think you can actually deal with it, and I've seen this done quite a bit. You just go for Horsemen. That's exactly what RecoN is going to do here, of course. He's going to get like a decent number of Horsemen, just kind of try to find a flank. Because every single unit that Hera has right here is going to be vulnerable to cavalry, of course. A light cav is not as strong as heavy cavalry, but they're also cheaper. And they do have a decent number of damage. They have decent numbers against ranged. Oh, those are such cool swords, by the way. Look at these swords, guys. Holy shit. You have to love the Abbasid. Look at those scimitars. Man, they're so cool. I'm totally a scimitar fuckboy as well. They are so nice. Holy shit. But this being said, scimitars aside, there's going to be a nice incursion here from Hera, but this is going to be very quickly stopped in its tracks. those Springles are going to dish a decent amount of damage onto those archers, killing 2, forcing the rest of those away. But Hera has a large number of Springles. He has 11 Springles over here. What he doesn't have though is any means of dealing with cavalry, right? He has like some horsemen of his own, 3 stables producing, and there is nothing actually. I guess he's gonna get a veteran horseman upgrade here as well, but there is not much happening other than this. We don't see any big upgrades for the tech as well, so it's going to be, I think it's gonna be like kind of an impasse in this castle age. And there's a fortress, there's a keep being built, but this is gonna be denied by Hera. Very last second actually, but it's gonna be denied. I think a scout must have seen this. But Hera does actually get this keep, and he's going to pressure 5 villagers out of the map actually from RecoN. So RecoN is going to be forced to cancel this. Maybe he's just gonna settle for a TC somewhere in the back over here. I guess that might be also a decent choice. You'd probably like to see another lumber camp built as well here in the base of RecoN. Hera also kind of behind on lumber camps, I guess. Not getting those second upgrades for the Echo as well. That ram exposed but survives, and actually those forces will be disengaging continuously. There are lots of spears on the side of RecoN, so he's ready for the cavalry of Hera. I think actually RecoN has a superior force right now, and those are very exposed Springles. So I don't know if this is actually good for Hera at all. He probably recognizes he's toast and he has to disengage here. There's also a fortress finish here, so I do not believe this is going to be a favorable fight for Hera if he just takes it here. Obviously those horsemen are going to ride in, they're going to try to kill as many Springles as possible. Those Springles from RecoN are going to wreak havoc, that is, and there's a lot of it. There's a very large chance that Mango gets like 2-3 shots off, and that might be just the end of the game, guys. This is very, very intense of a fight. Look at the count of Springles where Hera is just basically melting down. If Hera just kind of handles this fight poorly, he's just going to lose again, lose the series and drop out of the tournament, but he actually handles the back end of the fight pretty well. There are obviously lots of Springles alive, but those crossbows, they're still kind of okay. The Mangonel goes down as well, and those crossbows are actually going to deal with those Springles to some extent. So we see that the tail end of this fight actually is going to favor RecoN actually getting a few kills. But Hera survives, which is very important. He gets decent focus fire on those units of Hera. But Hera does disengage, and he does successfully hold position here. Those are gonna be sacrificed, though he is actually rallying towards the enemy lines, and he's going to pay for this with a few hundred food of, you know, donation towards his enemy. And it's actually a very cool situation for, I think, like, yeah, RecoN has a very nice spot here, though he lost a lot of villagers while building the keep, of course, right? So question is like whether Hera has enough right now to rebuild his army before RecoN goes to him, because I think RecoN took such a decisive fight. And he saved so much of those artillery units, especially of those Springles, right? I keep forgetting the name. That he's able to just kind of safely push against Hera if he wants to. Hera is just gonna poke in with his 3 Springles of his own. Though, admittedly, that's kind of a low number, so I do not think he's gonna accomplish too much. I think he's just gonna lose one. No, actually, he saves them. Barely, but he saves them. And those crossbows gonna provide enough cover for Hera's forces, and he's actually gonna trade favorably here. So what he did is basically he kills 2 Springles now for free, and he kills like 4 or 5 units for free. Oh god, that's such a... Oh no! Oh, RecoN is actually throwing this game, isn't he? Those crossbows go forward. They're gonna try to snipe as many Springles as they can, but they're gonna expose themselves to RecoN as well. So Hera does push back with his own cavalry units, and those crossbows are gonna deal quite well with what is happening. Of course, Springles are going to you know, tear through the ranks of the knights here, of course, and Hera has nothing left in terms of his own artillery, so I'm not sure if he wants to be taking this fight, to be honest. He has to just disengage and rebuild the army again. And he does have a lot of resources to do, so he can build like, what? He'll build like 4 or 5 Springles very soon, so as he gathers more wood, of course, he should be able to build more Springles of his own. He should be able just kind of to push back as well against RecoN's forces. So in terms of army, we have 10 Springles for RecoN and a decent number of infantry. For Hera, we have only he only has 1 Springle actually, and a large number of cavalry and crossbows. So I do think that the current composition actually does favor RecoN, because he has means of dealing with the cavalry of Hera. So there is very little that Hera can do against the artillery. He has very low artillery numbers of his own, and there's also no fortress here, so he has no keep. And there's no keep to be seen anytime soon, I think. Hera has 115 vills though, to 102 of RecoN, because RecoN did lose some villagers during this kind of push from Hera. Hera's actually going to also do some little amount of damage over here with his cavalry, so maybe keeping RecoN honest, keeping RecoN in his base, and forcing RecoN to just back away and hold his own. So those cavalry units are just gonna escape, and Hera takes this opportunity to maybe make a cheeky push over here, just kind of try to snipe a single Springle or two. Okay, he backs away on time. He's not going to be taking any damage in return. And those nice kind of nice units of cavalry is just going to survive as well. It's just we're gonna see like a disengagement from Hera. He actually goes for a fight over here. I'm gonna question this a little bit. Oh, Hera's just gonna go for the villagers again, right? He's gonna kind of sacrifice some of his cav to kill off the villagers to prevent that fort from going down. No, not really. So Hera just runs past this. I think he's just gonna lose this cavalry for nothing. Then I don't think this is worth it at all. He's gonna try to disengage throughout 2 forts here through lots of infrastructure, like build defensively over here. So I do not believe that this is a good. Oh, this is a terrible trade for Hera. He's just gonna lose all those units for nothing, or at least most of those units for nothing, right? So kind of unfortunate turn of events. RecoN also sitting on a lot of gold, so should he lose any Springles, he can just easily replace. And he's kind of nearing full population right now. Also, Hera is doing the same thing. Hera is very close to having a cap, so they're gonna keep trading right now. That's kind of the thing that you do in RTS. As you approach this kind of capped, as you approach the cap, you're going to kind of want to trade against your opponent, right? That's kind of the idea here. Crossbows actually are kind of decent against Springles. I did not think this would be the case, but crossbows actually they're very good at dealing with Springles. Look at this. So they're actually going to kill the Mango as well, I think. You have to kill the Mango Hera, you have to kill the Mango. Mango goes down, and actually it's a full cleanup from Hera. So he micros this super well, he gets a win in this fight that he had no right of winning. And he does actually eliminate all this huge artillery advantage from his opponent. And those spears and those MAAs, they have no way of dealing with the crossbows. So actually Hera takes a very nice advantage here, he takes a fight. And I don't know how this game is gonna evolve anymore. It's looking like, Hera is going to establish a nice position in the middle of the map. Actually, there's going to be a lot of trading here. Hera actually pushes here with his knights and with his horsemen in towards the middle of the map. There's going to be a very extended castle phase in this game, I think. So he focuses down the single imam, I guess, and he's going to back away as well again. And we see this ram being abandoned by the crossbows. I do not think you need rams anymore, because like every single ram that you build is just going to be countered by the Springles, right? So it doesn't kind of make sense because they just die instantaneously to Springles. Heavy anti-artillery damage. Now Hera is going to go for the relics, I guess. That's the plan anyway with this. So you're gonna try to capture those. I'm really surprised we have not seen any holy site being taken, especially the one over here, because RecoN had such a nice advantage for the majority of this game. He would have probably wanted to take the sacred site very early, and he has not done this yet. We have lots of knights and some artillery as well here at the back of the lineup for Hera, and we actually see a possibility for Hera to go to Imp. I think that was the plan all along, and Hera does click up. How about RecoN? Oh, he's very far off, isn't he? He needs 2k, so where Hera is going up, because he has a nice army, and he's probably close to being capped. RecoN is going to be forced. Yeah, Hera is capped, he just has the resources to do this. Yeah, RecoN is forced to basically just, I don't know, he's gonna be forced to wait a little bit to be able to get that going. And Hera is actually harassing as well, because he has an army advantage, he can trade those units away. I don't know if RecoN realizes the position he's in, but he really needs the food, man. He really needs to get some extra food right now. He has lots of idle villagers as well, which is not good at all. You have 15 villagers who are not doing anything. So we see like a very fortified position for RecoN, but I'm not sure like how long this stands against 3-4 trebuchets, of course. So I'm not sure if this is going to be a valid choice or no. Obviously infantry cannot build traps, so you need to build a workshop for that, but that shouldn't be a problem at this point for Hera. Hera has so many resources. You can definitely expend some of those to build a workshop too. Now, 3 mangonels from RecoN is going to be something that you have to kind of it's a force to be reckoned with, huh? Especially if you have a lot of those crossbows, because they are very vulnerable to mango shots. I think 3 or 4 mangoes are going to hit the sweet spot. We're just one-shotting this bulk of crossbows, which is very scary for Hera, meaning that he has to really be careful with how he proceeds into those fights, because losing this entire army will probably spell his demise in the series. Now, RecoN is... again, Hera has enough to age up again, and RecoN is nowhere near, I believe, right? He's not going up yet. He's still producing villagers. Hera is at 120, so RecoN is at 120 eco, Hera is 120 as well, so I think that's the golden number, this golden age for the Abbasids, getting that going as well for himself, right? So it's going to be quite sweet of a situation, and Hera does hit Imp. It's going to be a very grim moment for, I think, for our Abbasid player in the south, because he has two choices around. Either he kind of extends this game, which he can very well do, or he just kind of goes for a Hail Mary fight and hopes it works. And it looks like it's gonna be Hail Mary, guys. It's gonna be Hail Mary for RecoN, but Hera knows the better of it. Hera realizes he doesn't have any... He has no need to fight right now. He can just kind of back away, wait for those elite upgrades to go through. He has a lot of them probably queued up right now. So he doesn't really want to fight this at all. He just wants to kind of get those upgrades first. And before anything happens, he's just going to maybe play some distraction to those units. Oh no, this... Oh, Hera dodges the mango shots. Look at this, is so beautiful. Like, those great micro just kind of anticipates those mango shots. He moves his units out of the way. He's going to be dodging those mango shots altogether. One mango goes down. However, the sprinkles of Hera are going to be sniped down. And those crossbows are going to approach the mangoes. And they're going to dodge once again out of the way. And we see two mangoes sniped right away. But Hera has to disengage again. And RecoN? I think RecoN might be going to Imp himself right now, isn't he? He's not. He really isn't. So it's a very committed attack, and Hera should be getting the elite crossbow upgrades very soon, I think. I'm not sure how well it's gonna go, but it seems like he might be getting those elite upgrades soon. As far as the production goes, yeah, we have upgrade to elite for the crossbows and the elite horses. So it's a lot of those elite units here coming from Hera. He has the elite crossbows over here, just stacked up. They're very strong units overall, and they look very cool with those elite upgrades on them as well. And Hera just is going to go for this kind of very offensive maneuver. He moves forward with those crossbows. That's a very bad move. He's going to lose some to the Mongol fire. That Mongol might actually fire again. No, he's going to be taken down by crossbows. Look at how big those weapons are, man. It's so magnificent. And Hera going with the elite horsemen, elite crossbows against the lineup of RecoN. We're gonna go to game 5, guys. I don't think RecoN made a good call here. He should have just backed away. He should have got his own tag going, because right now I think Hera is just going to absolutely obliterate him in the push. Because RecoN is nowhere near Imp. He's really far off. Yeah, that's a lie. That's a filthy lie. He has some possibility of going to Imp, actually. He's close to Imp himself. Okay, so now I guess RecoN is going to be in a very similar situation. He has to just relinquish some of his ground. He has to just kind of give up some of his units. And as the game kind of inches forward, he's going to be able to maybe just, you know, get those elite upgrades himself and just just kind of regain the lead, or just kind of get the control back, because he really needs to kind of buy time right now. He needs to have like I guess like a minute more to finish that age up, and then he needs to have some extra more time to actually, maybe that's less than a minute. It's gonna be like 20 seconds right now. But he will need some extra time to get those elite upgrades going. They're very long, right? It's kind of 1 minute 20, 1 minute 30 for all those kind of high-tech upgrades. So it's gonna be scary. Another thing is that there's a monastery here, there's a mosque that is, and that mosque does actually require, I mean, this is producing gold for RecoN, so you would really prefer not to lose this construction or this building, and you would prefer just kind of keep this spot on the map alive if possible. So RecoN goes up, and he's going to go for that extra tech. I guess exactly he's gonna go for. So we see the elite MAAs, I think. No, spears. It's gonna be spears and knights. So it's gonna be, in this case, lancers, of course. So we're gonna see elite lancers being produced by RecoN. Is gonna be a longer game, guys. I thought Hera was going to take it, but actually right now, you know, RecoN actually quite nicely handles this entire situation, and he's going to be able to probably just kind of move ahead and, snipe this bomber. There's gonna be a big loss for Hera if he just doesn't pay attention here. Okay, so Hera does move away, and actually turns out to be a very bad trade for RecoN, who does lose like 3 sprinkles for this. Okay, we have those elite horsemen. Is this a lag or something? What's happening? Can players pause in AoE 4? Because that would explain a lot. What the hell? Okay, just kicked us out, man. Okay, so I'm going to hide the result from you, I guess, so that you guys don't see what happened. I'm going to just go to the replay. We're just going to resume the game from the replay very quickly. We can just go back here. We can just observe Hera. I think it's going to be a better of a choice to just go back to observing. That's kind of unfortunate, but we're just gonna speed up very quickly. It's gonna be fine. So we need to kind of catch up. Sorry, guys. That's something that just happens sometimes. You just have to go and resume game. That's inevitable, really, right? We're in the maximum fast forward, so it's not gonna take long, really. Probably like a minute or two to get to where we were. It just goes at 8 times anyway. If you click live, it's just gonna go at 8 times because it has to just kind of catch up to the actual game. Yeah. So unfortunately, we have to just kind of go through all those motions again. It's not gonna be a long one though, I think. Do you guys remember at what point the game actually froze? Can someone go back onto the stream and see how, like, what time in the game we froze at? I think it was like 24 minutes or something, but I'm not 100% sure anymore. Maybe 26. It was like, there was this, I think it's the emblematic trade. There was like a free Springles trading against the forces of Hera here, right? Where Hera takes this nicely to the crossbows. That's where it froze. Man, that's gonna be a long rewind, isn't it? That's the best tech we have, guys. I can't do anything. Like if the tournament cast of the observe crashes, I can't do much about it, right? It's a 40-minute game, guys. It's a 40-minute game, but it's like we're nowhere near where we were because they're not even imp yet. We need RecoN to be imp, right? We need RecoN to be imp like halfway through the imp, so we can actually continue watching this. Yeah, it's gonna be a long one, man. Okay, resuming, guys. We're close. I think we're kind of close-ish right now. Obviously, they've been fighting for a while. They've been actually fighting for a while over here, so. So we have the mosque. It's in place now, guys. We are back in the history. It's gonna be H4 for Hera very soon, I think. Not even started yet. F, man. F in the chat. But it just kind of reminds me as to how many great moments we had in this game, to be honest. We had so many great moments. Hera going to h4, and that's gonna be like another 2-3 minutes and we're good, right? I think that's basically the idea here. So RecoN just needs to catch up right now. So Hera goes to Imp, RecoN goes to Imp soon, I guess, and that's gonna be the match. Come on, RecoN! How could that game have... how could it have actually crashed, man? Unbelievable. There's this kind of terrible fight for RecoN, but he does actually manage to hold his own here to an extent, I guess. It was kind of nice, and... Oh, the game actually ended very soon. I think that's what... So this might be like one player just kind of quitting the match, and then it's some crashes for some viewers. Okay, so we have those 3 Springles here. I think that's it. That's gonna be where we were. See, there's the Bombard here. So they go for the trade against the Bombard, and I think we're live, basically. The crossbows go forward, and we can just kind of slightly speed it up. Because I think there was a raid as well happening over here. And that's where we crashed, I guess. So something like this, I guess, right? So we're gonna be seeing like lots of harassment right here. And... Okay. I think we can go back to normal speed right now. We have 3 Mongols here from RecoN, actually. And they're going to be dodged mostly by Hera, but not entirely. And you have to say that they're like... We're back live, guys. We're actually live right now again. So that's where we left off. You can see how efficient those Mongols can be if used properly, by the way. But the problem here is, of course, that... like, yeah, you have Bombard. You have that Bombard that is very long range, is going to just demolish your artillery if it's allowed to just kind of shoot freely at you. So this Mango is not really going to accomplish much. It's just going to shoot at the cavalry and die. Now you have a very small force, actually, for RecoN. RecoN has like 166 units and 30 villages free. Hera is sitting on 14. Actually, the army counts are very similar. So the Bombard dies, but again, like there is still no way for RecoN to deal with those archers, like those crossbows. They're like very annoying, actually, because they're dismantling any sort of heavy unit that RecoN is able to mount up. Another problem is, of course, that there is university upgrades kicking in for Hera, whereas RecoN is like slightly behind in timing, so he doesn't have access to those. You know, those burning arrows, for instance, are actually being dropped right now. And Hera is just getting a lot of research done under his belt. I'm surprised that neither of the players has actually gone for the preservation of knowledge. It's a very cheap upgrade. No, actually no, RecoN has gone for this, so kudos to RecoN. It's a very cheap upgrade, allowing to get a lot of free tech later on, because it doesn't cost you much. 150 gold or something. It just basically is going to return on the very first upgrade you make if you're getting any imp upgrades going, right? So it's actually very important if you to be able to get that if possible, right? We see that actually RecoN is gonna pressure this left-hand side of the map. We have some horsemen attacking here, but there is a large force of cavalry from RecoN to basically just deconstruct this entire attack. Over here, though, RecoN is moving in with a large force of cavalry and also spears. So Hera is looking like he's not really handling this matchup too well at this point, honestly, because this keep goes down. Basically, like RecoN keeps control over this side of the map. With those ridiculously big villagers harvesting. They look way bigger than they used to, I think. It's really just the perspective, kind of on the hill or something. But they look bigger than the knights. I don't know what happened here. They're usually not so big. See, these are smaller. What the hell? The lumberjacks, man. The lumberjacks scare me. Now, there are so many crossbows here that I do not think that those knights are going to be sufficient to deal with this. You really don't want to be... Like, I do not think you want to be face-planting into this stuff, man. Like, you really want to kind of take it easy, take it slow, get some of artillery of your own. If you push into those crossbows like this, they're just going to obliterate you eventually. There are 2 bombers, by the way, here, so any sort of Mongol harassment is probably just not going to be possible, because... Okay, we see a decent amount of damage actually coming in. I was wrong. That was very good Mongol harassment, actually. So those Mongols are going to do decent damage, but those bombers are going to dispose of them. There's a second volley from those, actually doesn't accomplish much. Those Mongols are just going to be toast. So, yeah, RecoN is forced to retreat over here. In the east, no, in the west, actually, there is a small raid going on, I guess. Notice just the keep actually shooting with the emplacement. So it's going to be keeping some offensive going. And there's also this Bombard over here attacking this siege workshop. Probably not going to be too efficient, it's just going to have to back away as well. And RecoN is just going to basically get his forces together, place them in the same position, and maybe go for some sort of a charge later. I guess he's just going to maybe go back to the full unit cap. He's actually there, never mind. And he's gonna maybe just try to, I don't know, set up some nice position on the map, because I don't think they want to be fighting head on. There's no reason to be doing this, right? So you can either fight for resource or you can fight for the position on the map. I'm still very, very surprised they have not been able to get any of the sacred sites. Actually, Hera got one over here in the east, but that's basically all there is, all she wrote for those. And yeah, okay, that outpost just is deleted by the bombers. I think the damage is a little bit imba, man. I'm not gonna lie, this is way too much damage. I'm kind of baffled by this. You have a lot of knights as well. It's actually like a face-to-face fight. I'm surprised that they're like, Mista was so good at setting up flanks, man. Even the games he lost, Mista was really good at just kind of managing the flanks. However, I think the quality of army on the side of RecoN is way higher than Hera's. Hera has no gold right now. He has just basically trash army. He has like trash cavalry and some crossbows. Whereas RecoN has a decent chunk of, you know, those armored knights. 9 is decently good number, I think. It's going to be a threat, I think. It's going to pose a very big threat to those units if they go toe-to-toe. Obviously, those crossbows, you know, shooting those flaming balls, they're very scary as well, so they're going to be doing a lot of damage. But I do not really think that the pikes care about that too much, because they just die to everything anyway. Those knights, though, they're very strong. They seem to be very strong in those elite spears of the Abbasid. They look cool. They probably are very strong as well. Wielding those nice long spears, or lances even. We can see that there's actually an engagement happening right here. And I do think that the melee lineup of RecoN is going to probably dominate this, actually. Like, you have to just back away with your units if you're Hera, actually. Because there's a lot, you have a lot of knights here that are just very, very strong. I'm gonna take that back. Actually, Hera wins the fight. So, the trash approach of Hera is actually seemingly working. Hera is not mining any gold, is he? RecoN is sitting on 21 workers and gold, Hera has 10. So his gold growth is going to be rather slow. RecoN is also kind of getting, and let's see the income actually. Yeah, RecoN has twice the gold income, less food, same wood. So I guess like in terms of quality of the army, RecoN will over time be able to produce better units, right? Because he has like more access to the knights, more access to artillery. I think if the game goes long, I think RecoN might win, because he has just higher quality, he has like way more possible knights being built, which is obviously very good. Though I do not like the army composition from RecoN, honestly. He could at least get some archers. Archers do very well against basically everything that we see here from Hera, right? If you can get a lot of elite archers, which are very good for the Abbasid, by the way. They deal with crossbows, they deal with horsemen because they just one-shot those as well. And they can just kind of go toe-to-toe with any artillery because they just don't care. They're like such trash unit that they will not die no matter what. Though actually, RecoN pushes in right here, and he's actually going to take a very decisive win in this fight. So the first fight did go to Hera, but this one, I think quality of the army right now for RecoN is just too high. And Hera might just have to say goodbye to the tournament life of his. Because obviously, I mean, RecoN is pushing in, Hera has no resources left, like no gold. RecoN is sitting on probably a capped army right now, very close to that, but he's also, he has a lot of free villagers. Look at this, he's not really using those villagers to anything. You should really have like, you should have a bound key that can allow you to, you know, select all the villagers, all the idle villagers, and just kind of move them somewhere. I think you can just kind of get them to gold or something, because if you're not doing this, you're obviously getting yourself in trouble. So now we have a very strong push coming in here from RecoN. Actually, he's going to pull the villagers, free villagers, with their daggers going forward to the front line here. I do not think they're going to be long for this while. One of them just burns down instantaneously. But of course, like, that's how Age of Empires works sometimes. And we have a large stream of infantry and cavalry actually going into this fight over here. And I think Hera's just getting pushed in. Man, RecoN's going to win this game, isn't he? Here in the south, however, like, again, this is a very strong lineup for Hera. Sorry, for RecoN. He has lots of fortresses here. He's having a stranglehold on those gold mines. And Hera is not mining enough gold, not even remotely close to enough. And RecoN has such a huge bank right now. He has huge income. He has also a ridiculously large bank of gold. He can produce like 30 knights if he gets enough food to do so. He can trade for gold. I think Hera is just toast, man. RecoN takes the series. And RecoN takes not only the game, but the series itself. And that's gonna be the end of the Hera's run in the tournament. Yeah, he's out. He's out, guys. He's going to tap out, withdrawing from the tournament. He is eliminated not only from this game, but also from the series. You can see right here that the villager count basically very even. Hera falling behind later because I guess of the harassment of RecoN. Military count, though, you can see that RecoN has been actually behind all game long. Hera takes one bad fight over here. It just kind of spirals out of control. He never recovers from this loss. Like, he had like such a huge advantage. But this kind of says one thing, like quality over quantity is sometimes going to be indeed the core factor here. So Hera had a lot of those kind of trash cavalry units. He never produced any sort of infantry. He never produced any sort of front line, right? And RecoN was just able to get like decent frontliners, like cavalry mix, like the mix of horsemen and knights is actually very efficient at dealing with whatever Abbasids can muster up, I guess. And with the backup of strong artillery, RecoN was just able to win. In terms of resources, of course, he had probably more gold gathered altogether, I would say, right? Yeah, 6,000 more gold because of the relics. I guess that was one of the factors. Also, he has had like way more time to go onto those gold. So Hera probably underestimating the power of gold, power of quality in this matchup, and yeah, he just drops out. Lots of wood actually also